we're going to see where things take us.
And here we are. We are underway, as you just as you said it. So as usual, we start on the ship in Super Metroid. That's because the game is coded to start in Super Metroid. Even if you save in Hyrule and you hard reset, you will go to Super Metroid. You may see that used a couple times if the runners want to leave Link to the Past without having to run to the door after they do a save. So we're going to head down and go straight into Hyrule. That's the first stop for both runners, as tends to be the case. There are only 2 items available down below. Just in case they're not useful items, they don't go after those until later. So we're in Hyrule. We're getting a look at the ledge. Ledge of Lake Hylia has a heart piece. That's our first known item today.
And Raikou is going to do what seems to be an inefficient routing by some people, but this is his preferred routing as Strizer picks up Spacer. Raikou is not going to take that item from the Sanctuary. He's going to immediately do a Chris Houlihan glitch to pick himself up. I believe it's 225 rupees.
225 rupees, you are correct. And I believe the reason he does that is because just in case the flippers wind up in that chest. And this is something I have seen in a race. If he were to find the flippers in the chest, he'd have to hard reset and go back and do this all again to do the Houlihan strategy. So he doesn't want to open the chest yet because he wants to get those rupees, take advantage of the glitch so he doesn't start swimming here like he would otherwise. He can get
we see Strizer doing the exact same Houlihan. I'm not sure if this is in his normal arsenal, but this is Raikou's trademark play, so he may be taking a page out of it, trying to neutralize that.
But to add to that, he will open Sanctuary chest later on his next visit to the Sanctuary once he's done all this, because then he won't have any concern with the flippers. At that point, he'll want the flippers, actually. Strizer's only difference was that he did open the Sanctuary chest. He didn't have to do an alternate way to get to Houlihan.
And Houlihan spits them out right in front of Link's house. And Raikou's going to save and quit to the Sanctuary, so he'll pick up his Spacer.
And we're off to the castle. This is the escape area. Now, there are only a couple areas that are really opened up at the start of the game on the Link to the Past side. That is this escape area, the Hyrule Castle escape in full. A couple of one-off checks in the Lost Woods. A number of checks in Kakariko Village, which we'll probably get to, and 6 or 7 chests in the Eastern Palace area, including one that is logically lamp locked, but you can get it without the lamp. If you
Raikou, it looks like, is going to check the lumberjack item here first, as Strizer finds just some money in Hyrule Castle, so that's not proving too fruitful.
Some
and
runners
just small refills from the hoarder. Some
runners have a different opinion on whether you should be checking this lumberjack item, because without the boots or 2 swords and a lamp, it's considered not important until you actually get those items. I think it's good for knowledge's sake, though. Raikou Rider seems to agree with that. He found the 10 bomb upgrade there. That upgrade is no longer available in the item pool in later versions of the Link to the Past randomizer, but it has not yet been worked into the combo randomizer. In the future, that will be available in the Great Fairy location near the Ice Palace in the Light World.
And we also see it looked like a nickel at the mushroom spot, but Raikou Rider, his 3 wins in this tournament have all come with a very trolly go mode item, be it in his first match where the go mode was in a very trolly place in Super Metroid, as well as in his round 4 match. In round 2, he was the beneficiary of a late catfish check by his opponent. Round 3 was the only time where he had a true jet seed, and Solsky put up a blistering time that I don't think anyone could have really caught. So Raikou hoping to catch a little bit of trolling, and Strizer perhaps sensing that Raikou's strength is his routing, going to try to do as much of this routing as he can to try and neutralize potential advantage.
So Raikou Rider heading down to the shop in Kakariko Village to buy some bombs. Looks like Strizer actually found some bombs on his own in the escape area, so he didn't have to make this transaction and use 50 rupees on them, or however many it cost. And since he's down here, he's checking the back of the tavern next. The item in the back of the tavern today is just 50 bucks to cover the bomb perk.
I mean, as long as you have enough 100 to pay the bottle vendor, and it doesn't, and that 50 rupees isn't the difference between getting to the 500 you need for Zora. Ultimately, that time is not terribly wasted.
He missed the bomb throw, and then he saved and quit from the chicken hut. I'm actually wondering why he did that.
It looked like his sprite may have been frozen. That may have been a bit of a soft lock, because we see Quake and some more bombs in Blind's hut.
And a sword.
And a stick. Yeah, that may have been something, a little bit of an unfortunate glitch on Raiko's side. Not taking too much time, but he really does not have a lot of time he feels he can wait.
Yeah, he doesn't want to waste too much time in that, unfortunately. It must have been some kind of a soft block. I don't see how it could have been anything else where he would have saved and quit intentionally. So he's going to go instead now to the back of blind side, because that's closest now. He's going to get his sharp and pointy object as well as his wavy coin.
And we see 50 bucks in the well and 4 more items coming. What do we have here in the back? Just a big 20. Getting a fair amount of rupees here, so a trip to Zora is not going to be too out of the way as we get some power bombs as well.
Yeah, nothing super important in that cave. So in the waterfall, in the well, I mean. Just another missile from the bottle vendor. That's 100 bucks for a missile. So something we didn't know is that there's a blue boomerang also in the back of blind set. Not an important item check, but worth knowing all the same, because that does give stun capabilities, so you can actually go and stun enemies with that now as well. Unless this were on hard difficulty, in which case that wouldn't be the case, I believe.
Yeah, but this tournament is being played on normal difficulty.
Correct.
And just a piece of heart in the chicken hut that Raiko missed on his first trip. Strizer now going to have to refill on his bombs. So losing that 50 rupee advantage he potentially had over.
And he's getting his 50 bucks back right now. And we don't have a bottle yet, so we can't check bottle vendor, interestingly. Sick kid, not bottle vendor, sick kid. So we'll have to leave that as an unknown until later.
So, Kakariko Village giving you a sword, but otherwise being a bit of a bust. Raiko might consider, Raiko leaves a bomb behind in that,
I was gonna note that, yeah, he,
gave him,
There's a little disgust at the item that he got out of that chest where he soft locked trying to get to it. He made his pleasure very well known.
Yeah, we have an energy tank in the library and just missiles at the race game. Strizer is probably going to be making his way down toward the South Shore area. Or with that sword, he may be going to do the rest of Escape.
Raikou Ryder did check the library. I didn't catch what the item was. I say we have a missile at the race game, and it took Raikou another extra look, I think, to decide he didn't need it. So he saved and quit.
It was an energy tank at the library.
Ah.
And Strizer is going through Escape. Rai is making the play towards South Shore.
And there is a stunning property of the boomerang put to display on Strizer's side on that guard.
Interesting that he's not checking what the stun prize is since he has that boomerang. If it's something like bombs or arrows for 20 rupees, something that might be useful. But we'll see.
He might think he'll have another opportunity to do that later, and doesn't want to waste the time now when he could possibly be required to do it later.
I guess that makes sense. So Raiko found a full heart container inside the chest of the dam, as we'll see what's been submerged. Our runner's looking for 2 ball-shaped items, either the Morph Ball or the Moon Pearl, and just another piece of heart.
Now, this would have been a good place to do the stun prize check. There's the Moon Pearl, by the way. This would have been a good place to do the stun prize check, but he didn't do it on that guard either. He had to kill that guard anyway.
In Escape, does not really do much for Strizer as of yet. Not without some other kind of Dark World access, at least. But Raiko's going to check these 5 items in Mini Moldorm Cave.
And why is it called Mini Moldorm Cave? Well, we got 4 Mini Moldorms here, so we call it Mini Moldorm Cave for that reason. That doesn't explain Paradox Cave, which also is Mini Moldorms. We just call it Paradox Cave for different reasons we'll explain later. There's the power glove in the back of Mini Moldorm Cave. And some blueberries and some Super Metroid items.
Yep. 2 packs of super missiles, which is pretty nice. Again, that glove would give Raikou access to Death Mountain. It wouldn't be in logic, but he can do every one of the lamp-required rooms in Link to the Past without the lamp, so it would not take him any trouble getting it. But it seems like he has some other ideas, as Strizer is going to do all this South Shore stuff.
It is something that a lot of...
Go ahead.
We're stepping on each other. I apologize here. It seems it's something that a lot of high-tier, top-level runners are able to do very efficiently, just be able to handle the dark rooms and not be too concerned about them. However, it's something that always needs to be kept in mind is the way the sequence is set up. If runners sequence break 3, 4, or 5 different things that all require the lamp, and then they're trying to find items that in places they cannot possibly be because they're still considered lamp locked, and they're trying to do things, continuing to do things out of sequence, then it can really cause problems until they find that item that puts things back into sequence. So you might find runners will do 1 or 2 things, like maybe check the hobo or with a fake flipper, or maybe finish Eastern Palace because, hey, you're there, you don't want to come back. But if you find a key item, then a lot of runners won't want to do too much further sequence breaking, knowing they've already broken the sequence. They're already trying to tie things together. They want to do things that are convenient.
Yeah, it is important to make sure that you fix your sequence breaks, as Raikou finds Speed Booster in the back of Escape.
Titan was also there, I think.
No, it was just it was Speed Booster, it was missiles, and it was the small key.
I missaw that. Okay.
Key, he can do all of the escape, just do the whole thing in reverse.
I missaw that. I don't know why I saw the Titans when I saw that. It was a missile, my mistake.
There I go, getting the key from the rat in the dark, getting through Dark Cross. There's another item that he will have to pick up in this room. And just a big 20. So with that speed booster, Raikou would be able to get his way into Brinstar, I believe. But he is going to do escape, and he's going to pick up his Moon Pearl. And let's see what Strizer decides to do now that he has pulled out everything from the South Shore.
I would have suggested he go to the Eastern Palace area next, but it looks like he has another idea in mind.
Looks like he's also going to back escape.
Yep, looks like he is. Was the key. Okay.
Yeah,
so
that
was the key.
What let him get to Dark Cross. And Strizer is going to let that item sit. Thankfully for him, it's just 20 rupees. But if that had been something important, it could have been a very different.
We had a map check, by the way. The 5-6 crystal is over in Desert Palace. Number 6, I believe, was over there. And we had the red pendant, vanilla red pendant. So,
yeah, Tower of Hera not going to be required unless this is a pedestal seed.
So normally that's where we would yell at Fred, but Fred's not involved with the development here. So, Total!
Sure, we can do that, I guess. Strider making his way up to the hospital's hut, going to be 3 items, as well as going to tell him where the green pendant is, which will be a 4th item somewhere. And then Eastern Palace will have 3 more items that might be available. And Skull Woods is our green pendant today. Very interesting.
And in the back of Sahasrar's closet, not much, but a Master Sword. That is something that's useful. The other items, not so much, just health and money. He is probably going to head over to Eastern Palace and check the items he can over there right now. And if he doesn't find much else in way of progression over there, like, you know, a lamp, I'm picking that because I like seeing lamp situations. If he doesn't find anything useful over there, the progression is going to most likely be in the Super Metroid area at that point.
Yep, Speed Booster may be your entrance into Brinstar that gets you your lamp that might be required to kill Aghanim for Dark World access.
I'm looking at that Master Sword and I'm already thinking, yes, excellent, Aghanim time.
Raikou is making the same play towards Eastern. Now Strizer, 3 items here. One is lamp locked and one is bow locked, but they could just be the map and the compass respectively.
Ooh, got out of the way just in time for the big bowling ball to come out. Gonna go to the right. He's gonna check the chest over there. No hook shot to grab onto the chest, so he's gonna have to take the long way around to get to it and climb the stairs to come back through. And there it is. So he's gonna check it. He's gonna find a big key for this dungeon. So
and Raikou has that Master Sword. Saving and quitting, he is not interested at all in Eastern Palace. This is an immediate check to Aghanim.
Oh, that's very interesting if he's already going to Aghanim. That is a very interesting play.
Raikou thinking he is reading the writing on the wall here, that he just straight up needs Aghanim for Dark World access. And that's the only way the logic expects you to get it. The only place he could check would be Eastern or Aegina's Cave. I don't think there's anywhere else logically he can get to right now.
This is actually not in logic at all. I want to point that out very clearly. This is a sequence break without the lamp. So right now he's taking a huge gamble, and I think he realized it because he saved and quit from there, probably realizing without the lamp he can't do that without knowing where everything is, and perhaps he doesn't know where everything is.
Yeah, Death Mountain might be a slightly safer sequence break as he does his own map check.
It's possible he also may have just done the spin slash, realized he still had some tough enemies ahead in those dark rooms, and maybe decided it wasn't worth it. Maybe he also determined there was other places he could go. He seems to be heading towards Agina right now, for example. So he's doing that first before he goes back to Aghanim, it looks like.
Yeah, this is fairly uncharacteristic play out of Raikou. He's normally been really on point with his routing, but been a little bit sloppy to start. Hopefully he gets it together.
There's our hammer.
Oh, hammer in Eastern Palace, and that's Dark World access right there. So hopefully Raikou does not try to go straight back to Aghanim after this Agina.
Yeah, he obviously doesn't seem interested in Eastern Palace, and that's gonna hurt him here for a while, because even though he has the Master Sword, having that hammer is Dark World access, as you mentioned, a lot, and convenient access between 2 specific points of the Dark World as well. So definitely something that the runners will want access to, and that will hurt him because he's only getting 20 rupees here. That is no hammer.
Chat's also pointing out that the hammer is still out of logic because that you need to go through the dark room in order to get there.
That is true. That is true.
Raikou is saving quitting to Super Metroid. He may be seeing what that speed booster gives. Hopefully, for his sake, he gets the Titan's Mitt or something else that will obviate the need for going to Aghanim, because that would be a huge time waste for him as he's trying to set up this very quick Shine Spark to get through the blocks here.
Yeah, we're getting a Dark World matchup, by the way. Crystal number 5 over at Palace of Darkness, and the pendants green. We knew it was green was the Skull Woods, and Ice Palace is the blue pendant. So, and I should say 5 crystals at Palace of Darkness. I might have called it a pendant.
Yeah, the Ice Palace as a pendant, you know there's something there.
Yeah, if the 2 dungeons where if I see a pendant on them, I know there's usually going to be something hiding, are Turtle Rock and Ice Palace.
Yep.
And very rarely that is not the case, but I think I tend to like to subscribe to the theory that it is.
Raiko's still trying to get this Shine Spark as Strizer finds just 10 arrows in the chest.
You got this time.
Well, that gets him some access to some other places, but hopefully he's able to do something with this, because I'm not sure he's necessarily going to be able to Shine Spark out unless he gets bombs and Morph Ball. He finds half magic, which is nice, but it's not progression.
Meanwhile, Strizer is clearing out the Village of Outcasts with his lovely Dark World access. He's getting some new items here. Don't see anything that useful yet, but he's going to head over to Digging Game right now. We're going to get to hear some lovely, lovely minigame music as he grabs a shovel and digs up this man's backyard. So anywhere up from 1 to 30 digs, we'll dig up the item. We're going to try and get a count as to how many digs it is here. That's 6 right now, 7. Finding lots of green rupees. Item number 10, what is that?
Good question. I need to double check, sorry.
We found the hook shot, by the way, in where Riker Rider is right now from one of the statues, so I'm not sure what that's called.
Hook shot at Mockball Supers.
Ah.
So,
there's our
very nice trick, and Titan's Myth, that is the best thing he could have found. That gives him Dark World access, and that tells him that Aghanim is straight dead. That's a ton of time that he's going to be able to save. And it's going to be very interesting to see when Strizer decides to make his play over there.
He almost did Aghanim too, so this saved him a lot of time, needless to say, and not having to go through that dungeon.
Saving him a lot of pain, yeah, as he continues through this Brinstar. Only 13 supers, though. It might be enough for him to pull off this Spore Spawn skip if he's good, as Strider's going to Hype Cave. How hype is this Hype Cave?
Well, 20 rupees to start. Let's see what's back here. There's the Book of Medora. Desert Palace is open. Cave of Samaria, a missile, and the Mirror. Algernon, rate this Hype Cave.
Oh, first off, that was the Cane of Burna, not the Cane of Samaria. Point of note.
Burna. Yeah, Burna.
You've got the Mirror. That's a lot of potentially important progression. That's a solid 8 out of 10.
Yeah, the book opens Desert Palace, so we can't finish Desert Palace yet, so I will deduct points, as you did, for not having the ability to finish Desert Palace. But the Mirror does provide a lot of progression as well, and could backdoor Desert Palace with Titan's Mid as well, so I'll agree with an 8.
And it looks like Strizer is heading towards Cave 45, named because, well, it's number 45.
Yeah,
a bit of a conundrum trying to get the speed booster without falling into that pit. And does manage it very nicely, but he has to be careful, only at 34.
And the reason it's called K45, just to clarify that for anyone who may not be familiar with why we have such a weird name for that, with a number and not any other cave. When this was named, it wasn't called Grove Cave or South of Grove Cave or anything like that. When they were coming up with the names, they couldn't think of a name for it, so the map they were using was a map by someone named Ian Albert, and he had numbers on every single cave on the Light World, on his Light World map, and the number for that cave just happened to be 45, so they called it Cave 45.
And now Raiko is going to have to figure out how to work this speed boost back to his ship, as Stricer checks the Bombos tablet and finds +5 arrow.
And he's going to get his 20 bucks from Magina right now. And this will not be what he wants to find, so I assume this will send him to Super Metroid to start looking there.
It is entirely possible. I'm not sure where else he could really go. He might be able to check Clifftop.
Sorry, I didn't hear what that location was.
Maybe I'll check Clifftop Cave as Raiko does manage to get out of the area. Now he is going to check the no, he's going back to Link to the Past. So hopefully now Raiko goes to Eastern, he'll find his hammer, and he'll be very, very glad they failed on that Aegean check. Or he may decide to go straight to Village of Outcasts.
Yeah, using the Titans, he might be thinking he has to do some stuff in the Dark World now before doing anything further. So it sounds like he does not subscribe to the theory that Eastern Palace is a good early place to go. I personally think
Except he's going to the castle? Right? What are you up to?
Wow, what is going on here?
Oh, is there an easier route towards the village this way, maybe?
Well, this is a screen that, just like there's rooms that you only see in randomized, there are rooms you only see in NMG. That was an area you typically only see in NMG because you would use the, you could use a fake flipper access point to get to that screen and get a quicker route up to Death Mountain. In a no reset.
Find the areas in Desert Palace. So Strizer now with potentially Norfair access. But Raiko is going to be doing all of his shenanigans in the Dark World now, most of the same ones that Strizer did, but he is not going to like seeing that Pendant Ice Palace, I can guarantee you.
Yeah, that never makes a runner comfortable.
Well, especially not Raiko, who in the last race of his that I was commentary on, he openly admitted that Pendant Ice Palace is a weak point of his, that he never likes going in there, and it seems to always have something. Meanwhile, Strizer is headed up to Death Mountain, it looks like.
Well, there's going to be that time where Raiko Rider makes the early play at Ice Palace, and there's going to be nothing there, and he'd be like, well, now you don't put anything there. Now, interesting thing about that room that he just opened the chest in, the pits appear after you open the chest. Some runners will skip that chest temporarily, hop up here and open this chest first, and then go back and open the other chest. They don't have to navigate around those pits. So it depends on how each runner feels about doing that. I personally like the idea of opening the pit chest second, but it also depends if you move on like he is here or not.
As he does get to avoid the room of requirement is just missiles from
There's Samaria.
Yeah, that's definitely a good cane to find. And I believe that may be both items out of Skull Woods. It's at least one of them. No, there's got to be one left if he's still going around.
I thought I saw a heart piece in there too, did I not?
I thought I did too, but apparently Raiko's got other ideas. Going to use that Samaria block to keep that down. As see nothing of value inside or on top of Spectacle. Raiko gonna take a Death Warp to make his way out.
Well, he has his 2 items, so I'm wondering why he continued to. He might have wanted to get the big key just in case, but I don't see why, because we know there's nothing in the big chest at this point. And he's still looking around, so I wonder if we're missing something.
Yeah, he must know something we don't. The Strycer's gonna check this ether tablet while he's up here. Just a nickel. Yeah, we must have miscounted our items for
either that or we saw an item. Either that or we saw an item that doesn't exist. There's the map right there. Maybe he forgot he already saw the first item when he found the King of Samaria and thought that was his first item.
I mean, I know that Raiko uses a very dedicated and very well put together item tracker. I would be surprised if he just forgot.
Strizer, meanwhile, gets his big key in Tower of Hera.
So he will not have to take a coffee break in the basement. At least it doesn't appear that he will have to.
He's also not heading upstairs yet, which is very interesting.
He may have just seen one item and figured that's enough for the time being. With the hammer, he can check Paradox Cave and Spiral Cave. Raiko checking Bumper Cave to find nothing of note. And let's see where he decides to go next. Probably Village Valley.
He seems to be having a hard time picking from all the exciting options he has. He decides to do Spiral Cave first, probably going to come back up the mountain via Paradox Cave. And that will get 7 more items to check once he gets those. So we have no boots yet, so this is the kind of like the Walk of Shame, because it's a really, really slow walk and you can't run. You want to run in a cave like this, but you can't because it's just slow and you can only walk. And he's finally done his walk, so he's going to drop down and check the chest right now. And inside that chest we have 10 arrows. Quite a walk for 10 arrows.
Rocco is designed to go into Thieves Town. This does have 4 really quick items in the front. He does not have the hammer, so he won't be able to check the big chest, but I'm sure he's hoping that the big chest has a map, a compass, or the key to get to it locked in.
So we have a check of Thieves Town. The first chest has 20 rupees in it. There are 4 chests that we can check in the front of it. One of them has to be the big key, and we know that the big key has to be out here. It looks like he might have checked the first chest actually when I wasn't looking. So there are 2 more chests that he can get down here. And we also have Strider checking Paradox Cave right now.
And the flute in the bottom of Paradox Cave.
Very interesting location for the flute. So the lamp was indeed required to get up here by logic. We know that now. I'll get back to that in a second, as we're finding an arrow, a missile, a green rupee, some blueberries, and what a disgusting top half of Paradox Cave. But the reason we know that the reason we know the lamp is required to get up here now is because the flute was up here. So you couldn't use the flute to get up here to get the flute. So the lamp is logically required somewhere to get to anything on Death Mountain, whether it be Tower of Hera, Turtle Rock, any of the chests, whatever it may be up there.
Maybe if they could have gotten up to Death Mountain via the Norfair portal. I'm not sure if that necessarily requires Morph Ball, though.
That's really a good point. It's easy to forget that there is an access point up there from Super Metroid as well. So it really depends on how they get to that access point and if they find the items they need to get to that before the lamp. And Strider activating his flute.
Everyone, please rise and take off your caps for the playing of the Swag Duck Anthem.
Which is already over, and as we like to say over at Swag Duck Airlines, the duck is unstuck. Please call 555 Duck for all your flight needs. Disclaimer: flight call number does not actually work. Please do not.
Rocco's found the map and the small key so far. I believe he's also found the compass, so I believe that confirms there is something in the big chest in Thieves Town. So Strider's going back into the Dark World, and it looks like he might do the Skullwoods checks, or no, he's probably headed to Thieves Town as well. Aldera, the logic that we talk about, the game has a series of items that it expects you to have in order to reach certain places and certain dungeons.
So I was trying to say something, and it turns out I accidentally pushed the wrong button, so I'll try again here. It's being suggested in chat that Morph and Lamp, the Morph Ball and the Lamp, could be somewhere behind the mitts or the hookshot. That would be, needless to say, a very interesting look at it. I mean, you can't... Obviously, we're not going to find the Lamp behind Hookshot in Hookshot Cave, because that would require the Lamp or otherwise access to Death Mountain through Super Metroid to get there. So we'll find out later if we get to that access point without the lamp. If so, then we know the lamp may not have been required for Death Mountain either at that point, and it could be somewhere in Hookshot Cave for the Dark Room access.
Yeah, so Rocco is going to decide to take care of Blind.
And what's the pun of the day going to be? It is, I got my tires fixed for a flat rate.
The tire joke.
But
Raikou setting up a can of Samaria block, seeing if he can get a few quick hits with it. Gets 2 with that Samaria block, and ooh, does take an ugly tap.
And that's going to do
gonna hurt a little.
That's going to do something very bad for him. It's going to take blind off script. It's going to make that fight harder. So he's going to put that off and come back later. I have no objection doing that at all, because that's going to be a harder fight not doing it on script.
Yeah, he's also hoping to find his hammer before he goes and does that. But little does he know that the hammer is just a Easter Palace check away. It's, again, not in logic, but following the logic at this point with as many breaks as he's been willing to take might be the wrong play.
Logic? What is logic?
And at this point, I don't even know anymore.
We're only 35 minutes in. We're gonna be here for a while. We better figure it out. So Strives are making his way through these very heart-stinging needles. I think they take 2 hearts each. So you want to be careful around them. Make sure you get them out if there's any possibility of hitting them. Opening the floor in the Sunshine Room. He's going to take his own shot at Blind soon, having opened that up. And we'll see if he can take out Blind. Raikou Rider getting his digging game prize.
It is also worth noting that Raikou finding Grapple Beam at the digging game, that's what that item was.
Ah, that's what that was. Okay.
It also is worth noting that since he has the Titan's Mitts, he'll be able to return Blacksmith and also do the Purple Chest check, which is 2 items that is probably going to take Strider a while to get around to.
He may put off the Purple check because he doesn't have the mirror yet. He's taken the Blacksmith on a world tour, it looks like. But he isn't going to be able to, he might not do the Purple Chest yet until he actually gets the mirror, because that will give him access to K45 as well. That would make it more.
In Hype Cave, isn't it?
It is. He may go to Hype Cave before taking the Blacksmith home because he's doing the world tour, which makes sense because
Strider is going to be able to check with the item in the big chest, and if this is something useful, then this is going to put Raikou way behind the 8.
Interestingly, it looks like he is actually doing the some of the stuff along the Purple Chest route. So as soon as he finds that mirror, he's gonna have to come right back here when he goes to Hype Cave, which might be where he's going right now.
Thankfully for Raikou, the compass was in that chest, so nothing lost out on that. He's been dodging a few bullets, but he is going to have to start making some clears that Strider either can't or won't if he wants to really catch up. Because Strider, with the Cane of Burna and full magic, this is going to be trivial for him.
And Strider gets his comment about tires, and Raikou Rider gets his mirror, and Cane of Burna, and whatever else was in there.
And as you see, Strider putting on the Cane of Burna, not only protecting, but gets the 3 hits in very easily, and is rewarded with an energy tank.
And that is our first dungeon clear of the, well, I should say boss kill of either of the games, but our first dungeon clear in Link to the Past today. And Strider now leads 1-0 in that perspective.
Strider does have that lead, but it's going to be interesting to see what he decides to try and leverage that lead into. Still hasn't found a ton in the way of other progression anywhere else.
He hasn't picked up
the hammer, he has the ability to get to the Pyramid of Power, Palace of Darkness, and Catfish, but it would be very interesting to see what he decides to do with it. Looks like he's going to check the Bumper Cave as well.
I was going to say, he hasn't picked up the mirror yet, or the Titan's Mitt either, which is over in Super Metroid. That's something that Raikou Rider has had for some time, and he's getting more checks in with that Strider can't do yet. So this is one edge that Raikou Rider does have. He's getting around with the extra items from the Titan's Mitt, with the Titan's Mitt, and also with the hook shot as well, which he also found right next to the Titan's Mitt.
Yeah. Trying to think. He still does not logically have Death Mountain access, and he might be putting it off a bit, but he is going to turn in this blacksmith. We'll see if that gets him anything interesting. Stryzer's going to check Graveyard.
It's convenient for him because he just picked up the mirror, so he can take the blacksmith home without doing a save and quit and walking back. Very much more convenient for him. Let's see what the blacksmith Jeremiah gives him today. Just an energy tank. And there's the boots.
The boots up in Graveyard Ledge, which is Stryzer going to be able to immediately use to check King's Tomb.
That's a new pair of shoes for Stryzer. Always gotta love a new pair of shoes to run around, and makes things feel all the more better and faster. Especially when there's wings on the side.
It's also in a really trolly spot. It may be a while before Raiko decides to make that check. It leads to a bottle which he can then use to check Sick Kid. So Raiko is going to see what's in this purple chest, and then is going to get his 20 rupees off of the Bombos tablet. It's going to be interesting to see what he does from here. He still does not have the means to clear Desert Palace.
So, so Riker Rider just checked the purple chest, and it turns out it was just a piece of heart, so not worth the trip or the time saved, but at least it's a check off of his mind that he won't have to come back and do later. Going to check the Bombos tablet. Stryzer already got this item. And Stryzer just checked the Bonk Rock. I don't think we saw anything out of that. I don't remember what it was.
It was just a couple rupees, I believe. So Stryzer is going to turn in this bottle. Let's see what we have here.
A missile.
Yeah, well, Riker Rider, it looks like, is going to, he is thinking about going in the desert, and this will get him Various Suit.
He's not thinking about it. He's not thinking about it. He's doing it.
And Stryzer, wonder where he's headed at this point.
He's farming.
Farming? Oh, this is a,
He didn't mean to talk to this guy.
To be angry, you break all my pots and steal my 50 rupees.
You're stealing my money.
Love a game that doesn't take itself too seriously. So Stryzer's gotta be farming up for Zora. It's the only thing I can think of.
Riker Rider picked up a Super Metroid item. Of course, my lack of knowledge of Super Metroid, I'm not sure what that was.
That was the Various Suit, and Riker Rider, seeing that, is almost certainly going to go straight back to Super Metroid to see if he can leverage that into something. And Stryzer is doing that fake flipper, so he's going to check Hobo. With the Moon Pearl, he'll be able to check the Waterfall of Wishing, and he'll also be able to get the item off of Zora. Meanwhile, Raiko's going up to Death Mountain, and he'll be using no, he's not? Yes, he is. He's going up to Death Mountain, and he'll use that to go to a...
And what is the hobo going to have for us today? The old guy under the bridge just gives up some blueberries. Now, it's a good thing we intervened, because who knows what he was planning to actually do with those explosives down there. That would have been a very bad thing to have happen if we didn't intervene. Anyway, jokes aside, Riker Rider is getting the old man. He's going to take him up to Death Mountain and find out what he offers as a travel tip for taking him home.
Raiko, with the Titan's Mitts and the hook shot, along with the mirror, would be able to do all of both Light and Dark World Death Mountain, even without having the hook shot.
And Stryzer takes the death.
Stryzer getting sniped right before he got into the right before he was able to get into the cave. That's very, very painful for him. So Strizer is going to try this once again.
This is actually a very easy trick to set up. I've actually seen some runners set the fake flippers up where they, in cases where they have trouble or they're new to trying it, they've actually set it up by using a bomb to push them to the edge of the screen and then jumping up and doing the screen transition. So it's actually an easy trick to set up, whether you can do it by eye or whether you have to do it with help of an explosive. But it's a good way to get 3 checks that aren't too hard to get, and even though they are not logically required without the flippers, they can be items that can be useful to pick up.
We have blue mail in one of the chests, as Riker Rider is that looks like he's gonna check this ether tablet before going to Norfair, but Strizer is just immediately going to see if he can get some value off of Zora.
So we're gonna have an item from King Zora for 500 bucks, or 500 rupees, I should say, given this is Hyrulean currency. And King Zora emerges from his pond, glares at the hero, and says, "Here, have a piece of my heart."
The Master Con Man takes his toll once again.
Life lesson. The irony is that I was just listening to Faith Hill and before coming on, because I have a Faith Hill CD who just happened to be my player, and one of the songs on was "Piece of My Heart." So now that's just stuck in my head.
Raiko is going to scale the Tower of Hera, or at least scale it long enough to potentially get a second item. Strizer has various speed booster and Spacer. He is going to see what he can find in Super Metroid at this point, and he's going to be very pleasantly surprised when he gets his he's going to get his hookshot and his Titan's mitts here.
I'm not sure if pleasantly surprised are the words I would use. He might be a little disgusted he didn't come and check this sooner.
But Raiko Rider finds his second item in Tower of Hera, and he is out the door.
Yep, Tower of Hera is a pendant, and unless the pedestal comes into play in some way, we're not going to care about that pendant from Moldorm, where he can basically go in circles up there as much as he wants. We're not going to be dealing with him for a while, if we ever do.
Strizer going to check the normal Morph Ball location, looks like.
Will we have a vanilla Morph Ball today? No, we will not. It's a missile. He's like, well, I can't get out of here now, so soft resets.
Meanwhile, Raiko is taking care of the rest of Paradox Cave. He's found his flute. And this room with the mini Moldorms will unfortunately have nothing else of value.
That single green rupee has value. It's worth 1 rupee.
Yeah. But what can you buy with just 1 rupee or just 1 arrow? It's a really poor Paradox Cave, let's be honest.
Very, very much. So it's being noted here that, and I noticed this too, that Riker Rider skipped the ceiling, or no, not some Riker Rider, Strizer skipped the ceiling item check when he was down there. He didn't go back to check that when he saw the missile. Maybe it was because he had jumped in and committed to it before he could actually, he couldn't get out or something along those lines. That might be why. So
that does seem to be the case,
missing the ceiling item check, that could be an important item, and that could be something that plays in to what happens in the seed. So we'll have to see later, because I don't remember if Riker Rider actually checked that yet or not.
And Riker is not even headed to that area, so
I didn't think so.
He has not.
Yeah,
but
I didn't think so.
Now has his hook shot, and he'll be getting his Titan's mitts shortly enough.
So if that ceiling item turns out to be something of significant importance, that could be a costly mistake later. And there's his Titan's bits, and he, as I said, he may be a little disgusted seeing that now.
But Raiko is going to go to the Dark East Death Mountain area. He does not need Hammer to complete this. He just has a hookshot cave he can get into. He'll also be able to see what item is required, or what medallion is required to get into Turtle Rock.
Now, I mentioned that an item like the lamp couldn't be up here because we knew the flute was already found on Death Mountain, but if we do find our Dark Room access up here, then we know the access point from Super Metroid was required to get up here. This could be a very interesting check from the perspective of logical access. There's our silver arrows, and the other chest has 20 rupees. Silver arrows will be very useful in all of the fighting, but there's only one problem with that. We still need the bow.
Yeah, silver arrows may be powerful, but not powerful enough for you to just stab someone with them. You're going to need to shoot them. That said, Raiko doesn't need those silver arrows. He's definitely going to be welcoming seeing them, as it looks like it is Quake to get into Turtle Rock. So he does have access to Turtle Rock. He just does not have the fire or ice rods needed to complete it.
Here comes Hookshot Cave. There are 4 items here, plus an item on the island, which I don't know if we saw what that was. If we did, I missed it.
Island was an energy tank.
Okay, so may get that, may skip it, but we have a shield. And we have a missile. 2 more items here. That one right there is, it looks like a bomb.
Power bombs,
and the other one, yep, and $5. Not very useful Hookshot Cave today. He is going to get the energy tank.
I can't say as I blame him.
Same.
Felisar, Hammer was in Eastern Palace. It is logically Lampblock.
Estrada's using a Shine Spark to get back through the wall. Gonna head down, and I think he might have come to the conclusion. Nope, he's going back to Link to the Past. I thought maybe he'd be checking the ceiling item now, but it looks like he isn't. So he's back in Link to the Past with his newly acquired Hookshot and Titan's Mist to see what other havoc he can wreak.
Oh, he can wreak about the same amount of havoc as Raiko did. Oh wait, with that Titan's Mitts, Titan's Mitts and Flute gives him access to the Misery Mire area.
It does, and he's going to see what Misery Mire requires. It looks like, was that Quake as well?
That is Ether.
Oh, that was Ether. I didn't see it perfectly. Okay.
So vanilla medallions for our medallion required dungeons. Going to delete these blocks to check the 2 items in the shed.
Vanilla medallions. Vanilla medallions.
We'll get there every once in a while.
Vanilla medallions. I think I have to go total again.
Okay. Stryzer's also going to check Checkerboard Cave as Raiko turns on his flute, which will let him do all these checks.
Oh, that's a fire rod.
That is a fire rod. That is a very welcome item. Is worth noting that both of our runners also have the book. This makes Skullwoods fully clearable, and while it is only a pendant, it's a green pendant, and it puts them in position to possibly check pedestal. Raiko, I think, with the Cane of Berna and now 7 hearts, is going to give Thieves Town a try. And he's going to be very relieved when it comes to the conclusion that the compass is the item in the Hammerlock Big Chest. Also, with his boots, Stryzer is able to finish this Desert Palace. But that fire rod is kind of important in that regard.
Yeah, that compass knowledge will be welcome conclusion for him, even though this is technically a double dip for him now, having died to Blind once, but at least he doesn't have to go look for the princess again, the maiden. He can just go straight over to Blind Cell and initiate battle, and show his dominance to the Blind. Show his dominance.
So Raiko pulling out the Cane of Berna, using it not only to give himself invulnerability, but to protect him from all of the fireballs that are going on. And gets his energy tank for his troubles, and now the boss kill count is level at 1 apiece.
So yeah, we are tied in terms of dungeon clears and crystals collected and bosses killed, but at this point I still want to say Riker Rider, even though he has not sequence broken Eastern Palace, he is doing things in logic, but knowing that the hammer is the item over there, this could be something that could put him behind, even though he is following, to a certain extent, the logic, not cleaning out that dark room and not trying to Eastern Palace without the bow.
Oh, I agree 100%. Not having that hammer is the big draw. Not having the boots is hurting him a bit. So it looks like he may be going in the direction of Graveyard Ledge, which would be very useful. That's exactly where he's going, as Stryzer once again breaks the tie with 2 bosses killed to 1 now.
Just when he brings things even, he has to fall behind again, Riker Rider does. So, well, such as randomizer. So he's getting his boots, and he's going to now be able to finally start actually speedrunning.
Interesting that Stryzer's going back. He must realize that the big chest does indeed have something. Let's see what that something is.
Ooh, spices. Magic Bat's in play.
Magic Bat is in play because he has that hammer, yes. Raiko gets his blue goo from King's Tomb, and that'll let him make the Sick Kid check of no value.
Even if he didn't have the hammer, by the way, he would still have access to Magic Bat because you can mirror from the Dark World into the gap above the drop, and you'll be able to get in that way. So even if Riker Rider gets the spices and doesn't have his hammer, he can still do Magic Bat.
That's a good point. Stryzer is going back into the Dark World, and I imagine with the Titan's Mitts, he may do all of the stuff around the horn, but it looks like he's headed to Skull Wood. This is fully clearable, it's a green pendant, and it is a possible pedestal check alongside.
And he has the book, so he can check the pedestal just for knowledge sake and make sure that whether it will be in play or not. And this will give him sure knowledge that bosses like Moldorm or Cold Stare are not required. Or if they are.
Yep. And Raiko might be making a similar play, but well, he is heading in the direction of the Dark World portal, so maybe. He, however, does not have a fire source yet.
He does, however, Stryzer, however, does have his Cane of Samaria, so he is going to have that now. It doesn't do much yet. It's just useful as a sort of a weapon at this point, but it will be useful in dungeons like Misery Mire and Turtle Rock later on.
Raiko's going straight for the pedestal. He wants to know right now, is this a pet seed or not?
Tell me now. So, ladies and gentlemen, get your pedestal hype in chat as Riker Rider gets out his book and finds out a little piece of love is on the pedestal. Wah, wah, wah.
It's good to know and also bad to know. Good to know that he doesn't need to do it. Bad to know that Stryzer doesn't need to do it. And Raiko finally heading in the direction of Eastern Palace. This is a really good play. He's going to pick up his hammer, but he's also probably going to realize that Stryzer's had this for a while.
And he also did the ped check and realized ped is dead. So both runners now have the pedestal knowledge of the little piece of love that they will not be picking up today. A bit of a shame that we're leaving some love on the pedestal.
Well, it's not it's not all the love, it's just a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. We can let a little bit.
So Raiko is going through Eastern, Strizer is going to finish off Skullwoods. This will get him another item that will be fairly quick to turn in because he has that flute. Or not. Apparently it was worth it for Strizer to check that last chest, but not worth it to get the item off of Mafia.
Speaking of Martha, we do have access to that, but and that is a green pendant, so it might be worth checking that before coming back to the Eastern Palace area just to get the green pendant and get one more item that we can check. I would make a play for Mothula with the Fire Rod. Of course, Riker Rider doesn't have that yet, so that's not on his agenda as of yet. He's in Eastern Palace right now.
Yeah, it's very interesting that Strizer decided to leave that behind. He's left a bunch of items potentially on the table, and while it hasn't hurt him yet, it very well might hurt him if he continues to do so and he gets burned by one.
Like the lamp?
Like the lamp. Or
that would burn.
Like gravity suit, like charge or ice beam, any important item that he just happens to skip for one reason or another. He does find his silver arrows at least, so that's something he won't be skipping.
He's cleaning out his hookshot cave right now. Unfortunately, he's not going to find anything useful in here. There is 5 rupees of value in that last chest, but not much else of value.
Rako's got his hammer, and he knows the writing's a bit on the wall as to what he has missed so far. It's going to be interesting to see what he does with everything he's got, because he's more or less caught up on items, with the exception maybe of that fire rod that Strizer has. Strizer deciding to open up the portal to Turtle Rock here, just so he doesn't have to later. And Raiko making the play towards the mire area, so he will get his fire rod here.
Now, it's interesting that you said that Riker Rider sees the writing on the wall as to what he's missed. Because the hammer is not in logic yet, it's not really a case of what he's missed. He still has been somewhat in logic not having that hammer. This hammer is just going to throw him even more out of logic and possibly make it hard to find the actual connection later on.
Meanwhile, Strizer is, with that King of Samaria, deciding to go into Turtle Rock. This is a very early dip. Gonna be interesting to see if he decides, if he ends up finding something, as Raiko is gonna pick up his fire rod from Checkerboard Cave right about now. It's also of note that with Various Suit, there is the screw attack item that Raiko would be able to check fairly easily. Just take the portal here to Lower Norfair on the right shed.
And it looks like we have a big key and a small key in the room above the fire rod King of Samaria puzzle. So that will send Strizer further into Turtle Rock. He doesn't have the ice rod, so he can't complete Turtle Rock unless he finds it in here.
And wouldn't that be something? But Raiko is going to finish off this Desert Palace, and will once again level the boss count, at this time at 2 apiece.
And he gets bit by Chompy, and in exchange he gets a compass.
So, not much yet for Strizer for this really early Turtle Rock dig.
So he currently has no keys. The question is, will he steal the key or will he check the Lava Island chest? Of course, the Lava Island chest can lock a key inside of itself, so that key would basically be locked behind itself, in which case he could theoretically steal the key and have the same result. So let's see if he actually does go to check that chest, or whether he steals the key.
I think he's going to take the chest just to make it less likely he locks himself later on, because he seems rather committed to getting as far as he can in this dungeon.
And he did exactly what we suspected there. He did get the Lava Island chest. He could have taken the other two to go back, but heading back this way instead. I think this might be a little bit longer going back this way, actually.
It also respawns the anti-fairies that he can powder into fairies. He was running rather low on health. And Palom brings up a good point in chat. In addition to the 6 items here in Turtle Rock, there is also Mimic Cave.
Yeah, Mimic Cave would be a very, very unfortunate spot to find any necessary item, because that means you had to do all of Turtle Rock just to get to it.
Incredibly unfortunate, yes, but he is in position to make this play, so we'll see if it pays off for him as the Raiko takes his shots against Moldor.
And come, Gorillaz, let me destroy your mimicking tactics with my sword beams. Taking a little while to get him out there. Fairy dropped by one of them. Not that we need that fairy. He's not picking it up. And the chest inside contains a little piece of love.
Yeah, it was very interesting how he was able to get those mimics to clip around those hammer pegs on the left side. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Yeah, there is a smog out there, but I don't think I've ever seen him go down there myself. That's very interesting how they did that.
And Raiko looks like he may be heading to Palace of Darkness here. This is the other 5-6 crystal, if memory serves.
This would also be new information for us if he, which seems he's definitely is heading that way. So this would be new information for us as well, just as much as Turtle Rock is. There's our Morph Ball and a few rage slashes, 3 rage slashes by Strizer at that chest. Why do you make me go to Turtle Rock to find that? Come on.
That is really bad for Raiko unless he gets the inkling that to go to Turtle Rock a lot earlier than any runner normally would want to.
Yeah, no runner wants to go to Turtle Rock after only 2 dungeons, let alone recently I saw Turtle Rock done as someone's first dungeon, which is absolutely unbelievable when that happens. But you don't want to go to Turtle Rock early if you don't have to, and in this case, you have to.
You have to at least do one half of it, yeah.
Laser Bridge, meanwhile, doesn't have a lot of worthy of discussion on it so far. Of course, the last key is down there.
And one more item I believe he can get. He is going to have to dodge this I-beam in order to do
He's
so.
going to have to take the safety exit.
Bow locked out of... Raiko finding out very quickly he is bow locked out Palace of Darkness, so that's not going to be the end.
Strider taking the safety exit since he only has one heart left. This is just to get the item. Obviously, he's not going to be able to fight Trinix now unless he finds the ice rod in his chest. This is why he took the safety exit.
He didn't use the blue potion. He had one.
No, he chose the safety exit. He said he didn't want to use the potion because he would have had to then make his trip to buy one later. He felt it was worth his time more to hang on to it and just take the extra time trying to get the chest. But now he's going to lose a lot of time trying to get to this chest because he's getting sniped again. Ooh, that hurts.
Yeah.
Riker Rider, while Strizer fiddles around with the lasers, we're going to watch Riker Rider head over to the... Is he checking the pyramid right now? Should be checking the pyramid, yeah.
Catfish does seem to be on his mind. And if he comes up another 80-some rupees, that puts Zora into play as well for all of the good that does it.
And he just found a super missile in that last chest on Laser Bridge, Strizer did. So it looks like Reich Rider might be looking around for the money that you just suggested here. He's doing the stun prize, getting 5 rupees from each. That's the stun prize, 5 rupees from each enemy, finding $4 on one of the statues. Gonna go check the pyramid. If there's $50 on that pyramid, he's done looking for money. He's trying to get money for Zora so he can do the whole check at once. That's what he's trying to do right now. That looks like a unique item.
That's the X-ray scope. It's a not required item, but it can be a useful item for certain strats. It really only shines when you have Plasma Beam alongside it. Meanwhile, Strizer checking Criteria Power Bombs. Just finds missiles here. And some nice damage boosting.
While he does that, Riker Rider is still farming. He is getting the 500 rupees to go up to Zora right now.
He's going to combine that with his catfish check.
Yep.
And Strizer will probably also check all of Gauntlet while he's in this area. It's going to be 3 items that he has access to, or maybe he's going to wall jump his way up. Very interesting. Now he's going to Shine Spark up. Much better.
Riker Rider is up to 500. He's off to Catfish.
Wouldn't it be a little bit trolly if Catfish has 300 rupees?
Wouldn't that be hilarious? Yeah, if Catfish has 300 rupees, I expect another bomb getting thrown into the pit as he leaves. That would be absolutely hilarious. So Catfish coughs up. Not 300 rupees. That's a reserve tank, I believe.
You're correct. So Strizer now heading towards the back of Gauntlet. So there are 2 items here, and you do have to be careful that you don't miss on these. It is possible to just not hit them in the correct spot with these crumble blocks. Strizer finding power bombs and charge beam in here, so definitely useful things to have picked up.
Yeah, charge beam for sure is useful. If you don't have enough ammo otherwise, the charge beam will help you in that Mother Brain fight. I have seen a situation in one of these seeds where a runner went in to the Metroid, the final area, and Turian, I believe it is, and went past the point of no return and had to start over. And that situation obviously led to a lot of disappointment because he had to redo the whole game, and he'll say he didn't finish that one.
Yeah, it's incredibly unfortunate. Strizer now going to check Omega Missiles, named because it's the last pack of missiles you pick up in the 100% run.
Riker Rider gets his new shirt, and he's off to Zora.
And he too will be trolled by the Master Con Man, as Strizer, now with Morph Ball, might think to head down and check that ceiling item. And no, he's going to check the criteria. He's going to check Shaft Supers here.
I don't think Raikou has checked the ceiling item yet either.
Raikou has not even been to that area of Star where he could possibly check it. You're right.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not sure Raikou has any plans to go back to Super Metroid without the Morph Ball, and unfortunately, that's in a terrible spot for him to look. As we find Screwpack here at the shaft.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a while before Riker finds the Morph Ball. I don't see any inclination for him to go to Turtle Rock, but he might be running out of locations to check. He might. Nope, he's going to Kakariko.
So Strizer going to kill off those bouncing enemies so he can safely clear this and Shine Spark his way up to the top. and pick up a screw attack. So with his hammer, Raiko is going to most likely do the hammer pegs and the mad batter, because he also has the powder. I believe these are also two items that Strizer has put off.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, at Retro Mother Brain, just a big 20. And at the hammer pegs we have just missiles.
Yeah.
So Raiko is making some checks that Strizer either couldn't or wouldn't, but none of them seem to have paid out at all so far.
So we're coming up to the Mad Batter right now, and the way this works in the main game is that Mad Batter only gives you half magic. He basically says, I curse you by reducing how much you can use magic, or something to that effect. So today, he curses by taking away his ability to see.
Oh, and there's the lamp. That solves all those. Well, that solves a lot of those logic problems. Well, that's a trolley place to put that lamp. We have just power bumps in the ceiling for Strizer, and there's red mail right below the shaft up to Billy May's room.
So it's worth pointing out, and this is also being noted by the Kuchiri, who is our tracker today, the mitts, or the lamp, was mitts locked. We had to have the mitts to get to the Mad Batter, and that means that they had to come into Super Metroid and get those Titan's mitts before, and get the other glove upgrade as well, before we could actually pick up the lamp today. So that was Titan mitts locked today.
And we have both Plasma Beam and a red potion in the Billy Mays room. So, Raiko Rider, when and if he makes his play up there, but oh, it looks like he's planning to do Swamp Palace instead.
This is new information. I do not question this play.
I mean, it's new information, yes, but really the biggest thing that's choking off Raiko's ability to continue with the seed is the fact that he doesn't have Morph Ball, and unless he goes to Turtle Rock, he's going to still be behind.
It's worth knowing, though, that as far as he's concerned, Morph Ball could be here.
Also, that's a very good question, chat. Where did Raiko find the flippers? I don't remember him seeing them anywhere.
I didn't see the flippers either. Yeah, if anyone saw the flippers, please let us know. I didn't see them.
And whatever it is, he must have them, obviously.
Our tracker missed it too.
Oh, flippers were in the front half of Palace. Oh, they were the one item.
Oh, they were that item. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, right, because we knew he was bow-locked in Pod, but we didn't see what actually the item was. As there's a 300 rupee in Waterway. But Strides are continuing to get some good exploration of Super Metroid. And it looks like he may be setting up a Spore Swan skip here. This is a skip that'll let him basically avoid an optional boss as he gets it, look like second or third try. This lets him skip a boss Spore Spawn, which, thanks to this skip, is seen in literally only one category called Spore Spawn percent. Not even 100% map completion kills him.
Rider picking up his key before he floods the chamber. The reason he wants to make sure he picks up that key is because if he ends up flooding that key like he would have here if he did not pick up that pot, you end up having to leave the palace, leave the screen, and do all of this over again to get back in here. So you want to make sure you never flood that key, because who would ever flood that key? No one has ever flooded that key before.
Speaking from experience, are we?
No, I've never done it before.
Conster, I would have to give a lead to Strizer, even though they have the same number of bosses killed. He has the Morph Ball, which is a huge exploration advantage that Raiko not only doesn't have, but is probably not going to find for quite a while, because it's in Turtle Rock.
He is going to be able to complete Swamp Palace, so he does have the hook shot. He does have the ability to kill Argus, therefore, so he will at least be able to finish Swamp Palace. That's a dungeon that Strizer will have to come back and do later when he's done his exploration in Super Metroid. But you are right, not having the Morph Ball is going to be a huge, huge disadvantage until he actually goes up to Turtle Rock.
And even if he does find Ice Rod in here, I'm not sure he's even going to consider Turtle Rock.
On the contrary, he might not be considering Turtle Rock until he finds the Ice Rod. But he did pick up the Fire Rod at least, so with the Ice Rod, he at least would be able to complete Turtle Rock. That might be what he's thinking of.
I mean,
sorry.
You go ahead. Sorry.
In that case, I was going to say that if he does find the Ice Rod, he actually lucks out in that perspective, because he only has to do Turtle Rock one time, whereas Strizer's going to have to double dip it, because it's already done pretty much the whole dungeon up to Laser Bridge. So Strizer will have to double dip it, guaranteed. If Riker Rider is lucky and finds the Ice Rod in here, that will send him to Turtle Rock, and that will let him do the entire dungeon in one.
I mean, the problem is, I'm not sure that even if he finds the Ice Rod, his thoughts will be Turtle Rock. Meanwhile, just the super missiles at the wall jump tutorial. The Strizer is going to continue on through Brinstar.
And Riker will probably find his Ice Rod down here, knowing our luck. Nope. Just energy tank and a big...
And we find a mushroom back here along with another potion. And the Strizer also found his tempered sword down here.
And question in chat, has lamp been found? Yes, the Mad Batter was holding onto our lamp.
So let's see what was in this big chest for Raiko. It's Space Jump. That's an interesting item to find.
There's our Bacon Blade in the waterfall room in Swamp Palace.
So both are runners with Tempered Sword, and if they check the other location, they'll have a Gold Sword. Will make combat in Link to the Past pretty much free.
Ooh, I thought Riker was going to avoid the spider, but got nicked in the last second there. So now we are visiting Argus, and he's going to, Riker is going to take all of the Argai, that's actually their name, off of the body with the hook shot and slash them once with the tempered sword to vaporize them. He has one remaining. There's one left he needs to get off, and that one's being a little bit of a pain, but he got it off, and he destroyed it. So Argus will now take to the air and try to squash the hero. He will not be very successful, as he just dies, and Riker Rider gets to enjoy a nice plate of calamari, as well as whatever that is.
Just another super missile. Meanwhile, Striker heading down to the bottom of Red Tower to see what he can get from this item. Just an arrow upgrade, but let's see what the back holds. Just a piece of heart. So Raiko is done with Swamp Palace, so he does have a boss lead at the moment, but it's going to be interesting. But oh, here we go. This might be the play to my personal favorite, Pendant Ice Palace.
Oh, yeah. He is getting this out of the way before it gets too late. He thinks there's something in here. And you mentioned before that this is one of the things he hates seeing in NEC that he runs. Pendant Ice Palace usually seems to have something, he said. Can you just imagine if this is the one time he does Pendant Ice Palace and he finds there's nothing in here?
Oh, I'm never going to hear the end of it if this Pendant Ice Palace is a complete bust. That said, he could find something like, I don't know, Gravity Suit, and he'll be a lot more thankful. I think finding the hammer and then finding the lamp has really put himself into the position where he feels he's behind and he has to make some desperation plays.
But
meanwhile, he's headed toward a wreck ship.
Meanwhile, this would be a great place because it is nice and cold and here to find an ice rod, because that would direct him to Turtle Rock, and it would validate the play that there is something in Ice Palace.
So I believe there are 3 items here in Ice Palace.
You are correct. I believe it's 3 items.
And the first item was the big key, so that doesn't count, as Strizer is going to continue his way over to Wrecked Ship, which in some ways can be seen as almost the Super Metroid version of Ice Palace. It never has progression until it does.
And even when it does, it doesn't, because, you know, that's the rule. It never has progression.
Gonna check this rather ineffective spike room to just find 50 rupees.
The link to the Super Metroid version of the spike room pales in comparison. There's no force damage. You need to force damage.
There is a spiky death room in Super Metroid. You will see it, and you will know it when you see it. Meanwhile, Strizer is on his way to take on his first Super Metroid boss, Phantoon. Phantoon has 2400 HP, each missile deals 100 damage, each super missile deals 600 but will send him into a rage phase if it's not lethal. So you want to hit him ideally with 18 regular missiles and then 1 super to finish him off.
There's nothing worse than an angry Phantoon. It will just keep staring at you.
Just keep staring at you and throwing fireballs at you. Yep. And be completely immune to damage. And Strizer's probably got it right close to dead. He might be able to get there with 1 super.
Yeah, he did that very fast. That was clean.
Yes, that was a very textbook Phantoon fight.
Yeah, that was clean. That was
he had an item out of it, but he does even up the boss count at 3 apiece.
Probably one of the best Phantoon fights I've seen, to be honest with you.
And Raiko is he thought about going straight to Cold Stare and realized, wait, this doesn't seem right.
Heads upstairs, and by the way, as you notice, he came through the locked door and it didn't unlock. This is a way to save a key. You can get downstairs using those blocks. I think this is actually normal, by the way, to come back upstairs like this. Not a case where it doesn't feel right. He just comes back upstairs to check the item and already has the access to the southern door downstairs already figured out.
Because I believe he hasn't found any of the 3 items here in Ice Palace. And there's the Ether Medallion in Wrecked Ship. That will get Strizer into Misery Mire, which is required.
So what was that about the Wrecked Ship never having progression until it does?
Well, it just did. And Strizer going to open the door, and this is Spiky. This is the path to Spiky Death Room.
Oh, this is not as bad.
Is very easily possible to take 200, 300, 400 damage in that room if you're not careful.
Which in Strazer's case would probably come close to killing him if that were to happen.
Close to killing him if it didn't do the whole thing, yes. And now he has to get all this way for just a heart piece. And since he didn't save, he has to go all the way back.
That was a full heart container, actually.
Still much of nothing. He's found, I believe, one item at 20 rupees. Going into the horseshoe now.
10 arrows.
So the last item is on Cold Stare. And chat pointing out, actually our tracker pointing out that Strizer is only 4 items away from go mode. Bow, Ice Rod, Gravity, and the Flippers.
Now the interesting question is, can any of those be on pedestal? Well, obviously, Gravity Suit could be. Flippers...
Oh no, pedestal we already
Flippers
checked.
we have. Flippers we have.
Raikou has flippers because they're the first time in Palace of Darkness.
I was gonna say flippers we already have.
It's a piece of heart.
Flippers were the first time in Palace of Darkness for the person who's asking in chat here. But Ice Rod could be on pedestal. Bow could.
We already checked pedestal.
Oh yeah, we don't. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, never mind. I keep forgetting we checked pedestal. It's a 3-hour seed. Bear with us.
Well, we're an hour and a half in. Raikou is taking down this last Cold Stare puff and being a little bit careful with it.
That is the
We find Cape here. And there's Gravity Suit! Oh my goodness, Raikou getting paid Gravity Suit on Cold Stare.
Raikou was prophet to his own foretelling. You have to defeat Cold Stare for the progression today.
So now he might feel like he's a little bit ahead. The problem, he still doesn't have Morph Ball.
But will he... Oh, he bonked there. Will he go to Ice Palace, or will he put that... Or, I mean, Turtle Rock. Will he go to Turtle Rock, or will he put that off? That's the question that remains.
We're going to see, because
he gets the bird.
Flute. Is he fluting to
going to Death
what?
Mountain.
Oh my goodness.
We are going to Turtle Rock, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to have Raikou Rider eventually picking up his very much needed Morph Ball, and he will be very happy to see that. Actually, he's doing the
he is going into Super Metroid. He is trying to see if that Gravity Suit gets him places.
I was happy for a moment. I was happy for a moment, but now he just made it look like he still doesn't have Turtle Rock on his agenda, and he probably does not. But I have a feeling that
in the meantime, is about to go bowling.
I have a feeling that if the checks that Raikou Rider is doing right now, though, don't pay it out, he might end up heading up to Turtle Rock because he is in the area after all. So what we just saw and heard was the Super Metroid version of the coffee break as Strizer hitched a ride on a statue and is now going to check some items down here.
There's one item he can see here that's new, and he checked the Wreck Ship Reserve, and he knows that's just a nickel, so he's not going to bother with that. So Raikou looks like he's headed to Bubble Mountain.
Strider not finding very much as a result of his coffee break quite yet.
Nope. Wreck Ship had it had ether, but aside from that, nothing.
Yep, it's progression, but very limited progression.
It points him in the direction of Misery Mire, which I believe, it's not logically full clearable because he still doesn't have his lamp yet, but it looks like he is heading elsewhere. And elsewhere appears to be probably Kraid, because he's taking this trip to a Red Tower, which will lead him to that area. Meanwhile, Raiko doing all these checks in Norfair. So it looks like Raiko is headed up to Norfair Reserve. Space Jump making these checks a lot easier. The Strider's headed towards the X-ray scope location. Raiko does pick up Wave Beam here in Bubble Mountain.
Okay, I think this is going to be new information on Strider's side. We're going to get to see what that item is. It's an energy tank. He will pick that up.
I mean, no reason not to. It's also a free refill. Raiko heading towards Speed Booster. There's going to be an item in that room. And, Morphball bombs in the ceiling. But without Morphball, that's not going to help him. And finds the red boomerang. And since Raiko Rider does have Speed Booster, this lava will creep up on him, so he does have to use it. So it does appear that Strider is heading in the direction of Spazer and then Kraid.
Raiko Rider didn't like what he saw and did a soft reset just there, so he's going back to I think he was last saved in Super Metroid, so I guess back to his last save point. Nope, back to the ship. I guess he didn't save in Super Metroid.
No, he did not. That is going to lose him his Morph Ball bombs, but I don't think there was anything else of value that he found.
I didn't see anything.
Raiko's probably now going to head towards Vanilla Morph Ball, and is going to be disappointed with what he sees there.
Now, there is still one item that he can check if he gets over and checks that without dropping into the gap. He can still check the ceiling item.
He can check the ceiling item, and he can get it because he has Space Jump. Well, Space Jump or Speed Booster, either would be enough for him to pick it up, but not going to be necessarily of use. Because if I remember right, it was just an energy tank. So Raiko's going to see that's missiles, not useful. Going to check the ceiling and see that that's not useful. Strider is making his way to Kraid.
Now, another commentator I've commented with commented that this is like going to the prom. Will Kraid insist on taking you for the date up top, or will he just go ahead and accept your declining his proposal and quickly die down here?
Well, Strider looks like he's in the right position for the quick kill.
And no date today.
Very nicely done on Strider's side. And let's see what he gets for his troubles. Just 20 bucks.
And the room immediately opens up completely as you come back through, which is kind of funny.
So Raiko is going back to Link to the Past, and let's see what he decides to do with this. Got his flute out, so where's he fluting to?
Yes!
I flute to 1. All right, he flutes to 1. Question is he going to Turtle Rock this time, or is this more shenanigans in Norfair?
No, I think it's Turtle Rock this... yeah, it's... No, wait, what's he doing? Yeah, it is Turtle Rock this time. He has finally submitted to the possibility that he may have to go into Turtle Rock when he doesn't want to without the Ice Rod.
Not Dragon. This seed has been a bit trolly from Gravity Suit on Pendant Cold Stare to Morph Ball deep buried in Turtle Rock.
And Gravity Suit on Cold Stare. Pendant Cold Stare.
So Strizer in the business center with Morph Ball, he'll be able to make a lot more of these checks than Raiko was able to make. So he'll be able to check high jump boots as well as this item above that, which is just missiles. Oh, and there's Ice Beam for Strizer, so he no longer needs to worry at all about his ammo.
Well, that's one very cold item to find. Now we just have to find another one.
And just missiles at Crocmire escape. But Raiko making the right play, he is going to be kicking himself when he eventually finds this Morph Ball here. But little does he know, that's really going to put him in a bit of a lead. So Strizer making his way up to check where Ice Beam is in Vanilla.
I'm going to agree with the fact that it is a bit of a lead because he still has to get the ether, yes, but Strizer has made a lot of checks that have not resulted in a lot of useful items here. So if he finds that he's going to find that Morph Ball, but he's going to be forced back to Super Metroid. The question is, what will he do in Super Metroid? Will he do checks that Strizer has not done before Strizer gets to them, assuming that all those checks are possible with the Gravity Suit, or will he possibly retrace Strizer's steps? He'll have to get the ether, but if he gets the ether later, he could end up skipping a lot of checks he doesn't otherwise have to do.
Well, and the ether is just in your natural route for routing that ship.
Exactly.
So that's not necessarily a problem. Meanwhile, Strizer going through the Lost Highway, and Raiko getting a little bit skipped around, and here's Crocomire for you.
Yeah, hi Crocomire. Would you like to
charge
walk for us?
Yes, 1 charge plasma shots. You get a free microwave on Crocomire, and let's see what he has. Just missiles right there, but there are a couple more items that are blocked by the Croc, and hopefully we'll get a good look at those.
So on the way out of the room, you go back and you find, what is the spike wall doing here? I didn't remember having a spike wall in here. How am I supposed to get through here? And then the room starts to shake, and all of a sudden it's like a horror
He's
story.
back.
Hello, Samus! And he's dead.
Pile of bones. And a little unfortunate they got so badly health bombed there. Now heading towards the area where he can, where the grapple beam item is. A couple other checks in this area as well.
I'm actually going to call out the time for this when he picks up the very particular item backer. We found the swag net for Strizer, so at least now we add Kappa here, have the item we need to beat Aghanim.
And doing the Indy Jones strats to get up to this last item in the pantry, just missiles.
So Riker Rider now doing the Mimic Cave, which we know is just a little bit of love.
I mean, he has done a pretty good job of just making sure that he isn't leaving spots behind, which is something he really wanted to make sure he didn't do. And just a nickel here, or a big 20 here at Lava Tide.
Okay, Riker Rider is about to get a very, very important item that we already know is back here. So, only thing we can do here is actually, well, first of all, get through this pokey. And I'm going to make a point of calling this item out as he picks it up. At 1 hour, 46 minutes, and 11 seconds, Riker Rider finally has his Morph Ball.
Yep, you can see he is very frustrated with that Morph Ball location.
Really? I thought he was pleased.
He might be a little bit pleased because it's such a trolling location, but, I mean, it's still just, it feels bad that you have to go almost 2 hours before you find your Morph Ball. Because there's a ton of spaces that he's left unchecked because he didn't have it.
It's worth knowing as well that both runners had a similar reaction to the Morph Ball. They both showed their love of the location by using their sword in ineffective ways.
Ineffective, but probably cathartic.
Definitely allowable.
In any case, I don't think any of the Morph Ball checks that Strizer has made have really paid fruit. Like the only thing might be the Pegasus boots he got. I'm not 100% sure where he picked those up. But Raiko having the flippers, having cleared out Swamp Palace, and also having the gravity and space jump. Those are the two big things he has in his favor. Gravity and space jump. And Raiko immediately going to Super Metroid to see what that Morph Ball gets him. He will pick up charge from Gauntlet, though. That's something.
That was a spring ball.
Yes, it was. It's a spring ball at Wave Beam, I believe.
It's being noted in chat that all of the Super Metroid items have been found. So with that noted, it would be interesting to see if both runners go to finish all the bosses in Super Metroid now, whether they go back and continue just looking for Link to the Past times to do that first. It would be interesting to see how that works.
And we have Wave Beam finally found by Strizer as he checks, finds an energy tank and a piece of heart at Bull Mountain Reserves. Oh, and there's the Ice Rod. Raiko finds it at a Bomb Torizo. Oh my goodness.
Strizer hasn't been there yet.
He is not, but he just picked up Morph Ball bombs, so that might incentivize him to take a peek.
So Riker Rider cracks open a cold one, well ahead of Strizer on this one. So that's actually a really good pickup for him. What does he have left? What does he have left for Go Mode at this point? Just Ether? What else?
Oh, Ether and Yeah, Bow Ether and the Charge Ice, but Charge Ice is just naturally en route as you clear out stuff in North. But yeah, how trolly is that? And this might be the kind of trolly that Raikou needed to clutch this one out. Required double dip of Turtle Rock, required full clear of Pendant Ice Palace.
And this is after waiting more than half an hour to get the Morph Ball behind Strizer. He's the first to get the Ice Rod. That is actually kind of remarkable, if you want to be honest.
It is going to be interesting. Raikou might be really worried that Strizer, for as long as Strizer has had that, probably had the Morph Ball, that he also has the Ice Rod. He's probably already full cleared, Turtle Rock and probably Misery Mire as well, which is where both of them are making the play. They're probably both going to, no, Strizer, I'm not sure what Strizer's up to. Raikou is going to check, yep, they're both going to check the Screw Attack item at, Golden Chorizo.
I've seen Charge Beam here before. We know it isn't this time, but I've seen that. That can be a really nasty location for that to be.
So we have 50 rupees at Showcase Showdown Missiles and just an energy tank above, so Raikou is just going to reset. He does not want anything to do with this boss.
Strizer does accept the energy tank and gets his free energy refills. And heads up.
And he could go and kill Ridley if he wanted to. But let's see what Raikou's deciding to do at this point. Probably heading backwards into Brinstar. No, he's headed back to Link to the Past. And I'm curious as to what Raikou's plan is here, since he flew right back to Mire. Is he planning on clearing out all of Lower Norfair too? Raikou does not have Ether, so he can't clear Misery Mire, unfortunately. But he is going to make the play towards Ridley. And he also has Space Jump, which is going to make things a little bit easier as he makes this traversal.
50 rupees there. I think that was for Strizer.
Yeah, it's the Mickey Mouse room. No points for guess why.
No, I have no idea what that is.
It's the Mickey Mouse room because the hole looks shaped like a Mickey Mouse.
Well, I was kind of being a little sarcastic there, but yeah, that's Bear's explanation, so good to explain that anyway.
As Strizer makes his way up the room called the Amphitheater. As Raikou deals with affectionately the worst room in the game.
Yeah, I will agree this is the worst room in the game. It's actually very much more fun if you have the Ice Beam to actually freeze those pirates and climb up them.
Raikou either sometimes forgetting he has Space Jump or just not being able to use it properly as he makes his way up. And the Strider are also going to check the Power Bombs of Shame, finds 10 arrows.
So Strider in the main thoroughfare over to Ridley right now. Would it be something if the bow was over?
It would definitely be something. Raikou making many of these same checks that Strider has already made with good reason. I mean, they are on the way. There's no reason to leave them behind. especially with how thorough Raiko's been so far in this siege.
And ladies and gentlemen, here's Ridley.
36 supers is exactly how many you need to kill Ridley, but Stryzer's got 95 regular missiles to finish the job, should he take a few. Getting some really good hits on Ridley with those supers.
Our tracker, the Kuchiri, is making a note that Raikou is doing reverse boss order in Super Metroid right now. This is the first boss he's taking on and going to Ridley right now.
Well, I mean, he has everything he needs to kill this boss, and he's right here. Stryzer does get the job done, and let's see what is hiding in Baby Metroid's room.
Okay, what is next to Ridley? We have not a bow. That is a missile.
And it is indeed just a missile. So a bust there, but there are still several locations to check on the way out of Lower North Fair. Ooh, Raiko taking a couple supers off of those ninja pirates, but does get through them. And a little bit of a high five as Raiko looks like he is going to do a little bit of a grind here. Probably for energy, but maybe for a few more supers. The grapple beam makes this very easy, and with 40 supers and 64 regular missiles, he thinks that's going to be good enough.
He thinks he's good on energy too, it looks like. Missing 3 energy tanks there.
Now, 478 energy should be enough for someone of Raiko's skill level. But deaths are very, very costly in Super Metroid, a lot more than they are in Link to the Past. So he would love to find an energy tank somewhere in the escape. Or he may do another grind just to get some more energy back. But a good kill there by Raiko, and lost barely 100 energy in the process. So very nicely done on his end. And honestly, I think that so long as Raiko has gravity and Stryzer doesn't, he is able to, at the very worst, keep this close.
As long as Stryzer doesn't find the ice beam, that's an.
Stryzer already has the ice beam as he is going through.
I mean the ice rod. Ice rod. Sorry, ice rod. So long as Stryzer doesn't find the ice rod, that's an edge that Raiko Rider maintains over him. So the question will be who finds their go mode first.
And Stryzer continuing to go through the escape, just has these 3 musketeers left in the Frank Z room. That's just a reserve tank. And Raiko trying to kill these key hunters, and uh-oh, gotta be careful.
So people are asking, why can't the bow be on the pedestal?
Oh, and Raiko takes a death from the key hunter. Good thing he saved, I think.
I'll try that again. People are asking, why can't the bow be on the pedestal? I'll answer that question. We know it's on the pedestal. The pedestal is just a little piece of love today. So the bow cannot be on the pedestal because we know that already.
Oh, Raiko seems to be in a bit of a bad position. He may be stuck.
Uh-oh.
Because he doesn't have Charge Beam. He only has, I think he only has Phaser. And he only has missiles, which can't damage the Red Key Hunter.
This is really unfortunate.
It really is.
Is there no missile recharge nearby?
I mean, he doesn't have a way to get out of the room with the Red Key Hunters. I mean, he's just stuck in this room. Meanwhile, we have Strizer continuing to do the hammer pegs with Jeremiah. Raiko desperately seeing if there's any way he can get himself out.
Yeah, this is a very, very difficult situation he's in. No missiles, no way to fight back. Now, I wonder if he is going to try to go down here. He's just trying to juke out the... Nope.
Yeah, I don't think he has a way... He doesn't have a way back out, is the problem.
Yeah, if he can't get out of here, unfortunately, this would effectively be the game. He could start over knowing where everything is, but 2 hours in, I can't see him wanting to do that. So this might very well be game, set, match right here.
I mean, he's desperately trying to make his way out, but that Key Hunter is just not going to let him get there.
Strizer, by the way, just picked up his lamp.
Yeah. Now he's going to turn in the purple chest.
And he gets his little piece of love from Gary. Trying to juke, Raiko trying to juke out the enemy again. Nope, fails.
Yeah, even a hard reset won't work. And give Raiko credit, he is trying his damnedest to get himself out of here, but it might just be he doesn't, because he needs all 4 of those power bombs in order to get out. So he can't use. Meanwhile, Strizer continuing to make his way through, deciding to go into Mystery Mine.
This is just painful to see over and over. It
really is.
It's too bad you can't just warp between these save points once you've activated them or something along those lines. That would actually be really neat to have something like that function in the game. But unfortunately, the game didn't come with that. It could have been one of those useful things that made the game just a little easier for anyone trying to go around without having to go all over the place in general. Talk about casual players. But it would avoid this kind of a situation. But unfortunately, he's literally in the situation I don't think he can get out of.
Yeah, it's just incredibly unfortunate because he probably had a bit of a lead with as terrible as Gravity is going to be to find.
Now, saving with only 34 health on your meter is really, really risky if you have something tough to do.
And the fact that he has no supers, I mean, I'm not sure if he might just... Yeah, that Key Hunter's just not going to let him get out.
Yeah, the Key Hunter is literally playing the role of Gandalf right now. You shall not pass! It's being noted there's some discussion in chat as to whether he could escape via power bombs going down in this room, but question is, will he try it? He's still trying the juke out strat. And gets nailed. From what it seems like, Raikou is playing as if he thought he had a reserve tank, and that's why he saved with the 34 health, because that is something that that would be a reason. If you think you have reserve energy, you would take that risk of saving at low health.
I remember he might have a reserve. The problem is he just doesn't have any energy in the reserve.
Exactly, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, this is just a terrible spot for him to be in, and just... I don't know what to say.
He's still trying to climb here, and
yeah, it's just not. He's trying, but he's just not getting any further.
Now here's what we have to figure out. Was he ahead at this point is the question.
I'd say probably yes. I mean, he has gravity, he has ice rod, he has two required items that's going to be very hard for Strizer to find. Just Strizer's not going to be in any He's not going to think about them.
Okay, he's sitting on the game over screen. I think I can go ahead and announce what I already know at this point. Riker Rider has forfeit. He has officially forfeit the race. So Strizer just has to finish the seed, and he will advance to the top 8. That's where we are right now.
It's incredibly unfortunate to happen, especially with how things were going. Strizer going in to finish to kill Vitreous and Misery Mire, using the cape to have invulnerability, and going to use... Right, he doesn't have the bow, so he can't stab him with the silver arrow.
So Strizer takes out Vitreous. This is something that we did not know yet. We have an energy tank on Vitreous today. And that's one of our items in Misery Mire. I didn't catch what the other item was, because I was watching Riker Rider this entire time. And now people in chat are calling for a 100% run.
So Strizer does know that he just has to finish this seed. He's just going to go through everything as quickly as he can. Pit of Blood. Yes, Strizer does have to complete the seed to officially get his victory. But at this point, it is academic. So Strizer's going to find his flippers, which is probably going to push him towards ice and swamp.
I would say so at this point.
Because he can't do anything here.
Okay, it looks like Riker Rider is going to try to join us here to talk about this. And yeah, there's discussion in chat that since Riker softlock, would they just re-race? No, it's a case where Riker Rider saved the game and put himself into a situation where he ended up softlocking himself, and it was caused by him saving the game in that spot. It's not a situation where that warrants a re-race, because it could, in theory, it could be used by someone who figures he's about an hour behind to try and say, okay, I can't get out, re-race. And it can be abused in that way. So it's not something that is allowed, just probably because of a reason like that where it could be abused. And even so, tournament organizers have obviously made it so that if that happens, the rule is that you lose. If you have to forfeit, you have to lose, and the other runner gets the win. So it is unfortunate. Riker Rider will be out of the tournament with a 3-2 record, assuming Strizer finishes the seed. The only reason we would get a re-race, I feel, would be if Strizer somehow softlocks himself. And if that happens, then we probably would get a re-race.
It would be very unlikely for that to happen. Strizer is playing good in his own right. You don't get to 5-0 without being really good. Error math. I've just checked with some people a bit more knowledgeable in Super Metroid. The only way to damage the Red Key Hunters are Super Missiles, which Riker was out of, or Plasma Beam, which Riker didn't have. It's the only things that can damage it. So Strizer going through Swamp Palace. He'll finish off Cold Stare, and from there he'll probably get the same idea that Raikou did to go to Ice Palace, and he'll find his gravity suit. As we do have Raikou Rider here in chat. Of all the ways to go, that's gotta be a terrible one.
Oh, absolutely. So the reason why I didn't just take the 10-minute loss after realizing what had happened was I thought I had a reserve. And I did have a reserve tank. It was just empty was the issue. So I spent about 10 minutes trying to maneuver my way around the red key hunters, and it just didn't end well. I couldn't even get past the first one. And even if I could, there were 2 more coming that I think are actually more difficult to dodge.
Yeah, it's just really off. Out of curiosity, I mean, you had said earlier that the trollier the seed was, the better you thought your odds were, and I think in that regard, the game certainly delivered. How does Mini Roller Room Morph Ball with Turtle Rock sound?
Yeah, I felt I hit the jackpot when I found Morph there, especially after finding Gravity in Gravity on Cold Stare is ridiculous, by the way.
Yeah.
And that had
You know what I say with Pendant Ice Palace.
I actually thought of you after I did Swamp and didn't have progression. I was actually thinking I should go Independent Ice Palace because I feel like I'm somehow behind because I'm getting out-executed.
Well, here's the thing. You were actually second to Morph Ball by about half an hour. Strizer made an immediate play to Ice Palace.
Maybe longer. I didn't have an exact time on that.
But Strizer made a super early Turtle Rock play and was rewarded with a Morph Ball quite a bit before you got it.
But you were the first one to pick up Gravity Suit, and Strizer still does not have Gravity Suit. You actually were ahead on Link to the Past bosses by 1 right now. And his lead was on Super Metroid. He had a couple other Super Metroid bosses. By the way, we don't have Ridley marked off on either tracker. I know both runners did do
It's lit up, it's just really dark.
Oh, okay, maybe
yes.
That'll be why. Got it.
I thought I was, for the most part, I thought I was like routing really well. Just I did not execute well in this race at all. Like the mirror, what I did after the mirror, I was pretty happy with.
Yeah, I mean, finding the mirror in Hype Cave and then being able to turn around and do all that stuff around the horn was definitely good routing. There was a bunch of stuff. It was very interesting. Strizer matched you pretty closely in the early going with. He did the same Houlihan as you. He just picked up Space Jump in the big chest in Swamp.
Oh yeah, that was a really ugly spot for Space Jump too.
And then Morph Ball Bombs having the Ice Rod that you're going to need in order to finish off Cold Stare. Or not Cold Stare, Trinax.
I actually thought once you got Morph Ball, checking that area was a no-brainer. The plan from there was to go down to what is it? The plan was to go down to like after Ridley, I was going to probably check the rest of like check the Morph-locked upper Norfair spots. Probably go get Wave Beam again, but not Morph Ball Bombs. And then go to Kraid's Lair to Meridia up Mount Everest. And then do Western Meridia up Mount Everest to wreck ship. And then depending on what items I had there, I might be in go mode potentially. And
the big issue is we still have not found the bow from either of you.
Oh my goodness, that's...
So at this point, I'm pretty sure that it has to be somewhere in Meridian.
I was wondering with that gravity suit if there would be an item locked behind if there might be an item locked behind Meridia, or rather like a go mode item potentially in Meridia. I felt good about that when I found gravity in Ice Palace, and then I guess I just got a little overzealous because of some issues that were happening early on in the seed, where I soft locked in the chicken's house. That was actually what started it.
Yeah, what actually was that? I've never seen that soft lock before.
If you try to pick up a chicken on the same frame that a bomb lands, you'll soft lock, because Link to the Past doesn't like it when you try to do two things at once.
Link to the Past is a very well-programmed game from that aspect.
Super Metroid is also a very well-programmed game. But yeah, it was that and I had a bunch of mishaps early, like dying to blind in Thieves Town. I figured I was actually in pretty big trouble until I found Gravity Suit, and I'm like, hey, Gravity Suit, if I just press this advantage, I'll be able to make up time and maybe finish like 1 or 2 minutes ahead of Strizer. But,
yeah, I mean, obviously I had no way to know this, but with things as they were, you probably could have just taken the death and still would have had a lead.
Yeah, you might have still been a little bit ahead there. It might have been a really close race by the time your paths converged. You just had to find Ether, which he has already found, and then both of you still have the bow to find.
Where was Ether?
Ether was in Wreck Ship. It was the only thing in Wreck Ship.
Oh yeah, I would have found that. I would have found that easily.
It was very early in Wreck Ship too.
So if Bo is in Meridia, then I can just get Ether and then leave Wreck Ship, basically. It's just,
pretty much.
I mean, I was kind of just wondering when my Super Metroid experience was gonna get me, because let's be fair, I have no business being in this bracket, like the 3-in-1 bracket at all, with how terrible I am at Super Metroid.
I mean, that a Ridley kill certainly would say otherwise. That was impressive.
Yeah, that was a great Ridley kill. That was nice.
That's the best Ridley fight I've ever done.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but haven't your 3 wins all been PBs or near PBs for the combo randomizer?
No, my personal best is 2 hours and 44 minutes, but that's on a very special seed.
How special are we talking again?
The Lack Attack Fusion Warrior seed.
Oh, right, that seed.
That was super jet. But on any other seed, I think my best is like a 301. It's like I really wish I had the opportunity to like play the seed back at some point, but because of how monumental this race was, I won't be able to like have the chance to do that, because I just won't forget about where that gravity suit was.
Yeah, I mean, that was big. Strizer is making his way towards Strizer's making his way towards Cold Stare. It looks like he may be checking the back half. Yeah, it looks like he's gonna check the back half, which had a lot of nothing. I was honestly a bit worried that you were going to check Ice Palace and it was going to be completely nothing.
Yeah, I was scared. I was scared about
get yelled at.
I was scared about that too, but I figured with the mishaps early, I needed to make some kind of play to catch back up. And then when I found Gravity Suit, I thought we were maybe even.
I mean, when you found Morphball and Gravity, you were probably a bit ahead, even though you hadn't really pressed the advantage that Gravity had. The fact that it was in such a terrible spot.
I couldn't press the advantage on Gravity because every single location that requires Gravity also requires Morphball to check.
Exactly.
Yeah, once you had the Morphball, it was something you could press, because Strizer, he's just coming to Gravity Suit now. He's in Ice Palace now.
that's exactly where I was headed, because I just wanted to go to what was it? I wanted to go to Norfair first for routing purposes, like I had stated. It just makes sense to clear out, because the way you're supposed to route it is you're supposed to go like Lower Norfair to Ridley to Upper Norfair, check all of Bubble Mountain, Wreckship Reserve, that area, and then go kill Kraid if you haven't. And then after Kraid, you go up through Western Meridia, up Mount Everest to Wreckship, and then just kill Dragon whenever you're in go mode.
I mean, you seem to have the route all figured out. It's just sometimes knowing the route and being able to do the routes are two different things, as you found.
Like I had stated, I was wondering at what point in the tournament SM was going to be SM, because as we have seen from all of the marathon performances of Super Metroid, it happens to even the best players.
I mean, you do have a point, yeah. This is still going to sew up a 10th place finish for you, which is very respectable given the level of competition.
A lot better than I thought I would do. It's just terrible that it had to end in such a just anticlimactic way.
Yeah, Strizer just now coming up on the Coldster fight. And again, this is on a 15-minute delay, so he's already done this 15 minutes ago. But he's just taking out Coldster right now. Very, very nice corner kill. Got them all in the corner, got them all out quickly, and there's his gravity.
Oh yeah, Butter. I was trying to figure out if I was gonna go back for Butter.
Because you saw the last
the last sword just required morph.
Strizer does have his Butter sword, by the way.
I was thinking about getting it, but I also didn't know how much of an issue time would be, because, like I said at the beginning, I was not going to win this on execution. I was going to win this on routing. And the routing was clearly there. I thought that there were some decisions I made towards the hour and a half mark that were just brilliant.
There was a lot of stuff where you just comboed a lot of stuff together, but it really didn't come together until about the hour and a half to 2 hour mark.
It's where I had checked a whole bunch of locations, and also I couldn't figure out a good time when I wanted to return to ice. Also, the whole Zora situation, like just being patient with that. Oh yeah. Speaking of Zora, did you like the stun prize farming?
Strizer did pot farming, but he farmed up rupees in much the same way, and it paid off about just as poorly. Strizer now, it looks like he's going to the Dark World shopping district, and he'll take that warp to head over to Dragon.
The reason why
he'll be able to go straight to Mother Brain from there if he wants to.
The reason why I did the farming there is actually because I was nowhere close to pots at the time. And I was like, wait, what's the stun prize? And that's a 5 rupee. The other reason why I was killing enemies is because there were actually a lot of 20 rupees in the prize packs.
We did notice that, yeah. Even with the Houlihan's, both you seem to have plenty of money for most of the early and mid game. You just getting up to 500 was a little bit more challenging.
I was surprised to see Strizer Houlihan, because usually he doesn't.
I mean, that may have been some of the metagame. He may have done it because he knows that you always do it.
And it's possible. But long story short, Super Metroid.
Yes.
Long story short, Super Metroid is a hard game.
Very true. Strizer looks like he's going to try for some Shine Spark damage on Dragon.
Yeah, that's something I can't do. I would have just fried the shrimp. That's one of the reasons.
Plasma. I'm trying to remember exactly where he found it, but
where was
had everything for microwave?
Yeah, where was Plasma behind? Like, could anybody remember where Plasma is? Because because if I had Plasma, then the red key hunters wouldn't be an issue. The only beam I found was Wave, and I was just thinking, I don't need to actually get this right now.
Oh, Billy Mays, that's where it was.
Oh my god. There's no way I was gonna have that. Absolutely no way I would have that, because I wasn't gonna check Billy Mays until after I had done all of that. Until after I'd done, like, all that nonsense with the,
And a little bit of visual glitches with that Shine Spark from Strizer, but he does seem like he's about ready to finish off Dragon. Just needs to get one, maybe two more sparks off.
He's got Dragon down. He's down. He gets taken down, and off he goes.
He still needs the Ice Rod and the bow for Go Mode, though.
I'm beginning to think that this bow is just in Meridia.
I mean,
that's actually one of the reasons why I held off on doing Eastern as long as I did. Oh, speaking of which, the number of double dips required in this seed is absurd.
Yeah,
there are a few.
The hammer out of Eastern, which was lamp locked.
Hammer out of Eastern and Pod and Turtle Rock.
Turtle Rock was the big
think
one.
There was a way you could have gotten, because you could have gotten.
No, Ice Rod.
I'm trying to think if there was a way you could have gotten to Mad Batter without the lamp or without the hammer.
Not logically.
Yeah, you could have mirrored without the hammer. That's.
Oh yeah, you can mirror. Yeah, you could mirror. That's what the logic required you do. But I mentioned
that earlier too.
Because Ice Rod was morph locked. Because Ice Rod was morph locked.
Yeah, Ice Rod was one of the first things found as soon as Riker Rider found the Morph Ball, so definitely the Ice Rod was behind one of those Morph Ball checks, and Strizer hasn't even found it yet. I don't think, unless it's just not marked off on the tracker.
No, he has not gone back to that area. It looks like he's headed towards Plasma Beam, and from there he might do
Bombos.
Have Spring Ball.
How long it takes is going to depend on how long it takes him to find Ice Rod is going to depend on like how he routes Super Metroid.
Well, he does have Bombo, so he does have all 3 medallions now.
All right, that was something fun of double vanilla medallions for.
Yeah, I noticed that. But that's just the whole thing with this race just came down to when you're playing against an opponent that outclasses you execution wise, you have to play under the assumption that the way you're going to win is routing, and you need to be able to you have to absolutely be on top of your game.
Oh, I agree 100%.
And I felt that was a risk I had to take, and that actually could have been alleviated if I had just taken the 7 seconds to save before Ridley. But you also have to remember that if I wind up having to reload that save, I'm probably not winning the race anyway.
I mean, it's just hindsight's 2020, and that's just a part of randomizer. As Strizer now checking Aqueduct, a heart container and a heart piece. Still bow MIA.
Yeah, 100%. But realistically, given the mindset that I had going into the race, and just where I was in that race, I don't think it was wrong. Maybe a short farm after Ridley would have been the play.
Yeah, I remember saying that maybe if you were low on energy, you would have farmed a bit.
I wasn't that low on health though. I had 4 tanks.
Yeah, you had 4 tanks. Yeah, that's about right. Speaking of which, an energy tank in one of the sand pits, and Stryzer's just going to reset check. The issue
is just the lack of ammo. I should have farmed ammo after Ridley, but that's but when you're in that position and you've already had some mishaps, it's just a difficult decision to like actually make a pit stop when you feel that you don't have any time to spare as it is.
Oh, for sure. I can't imagine that if I were in your shoes, I'd be able to do any different.
Okay, what is the item up here in the other sand pit? Money.
Come on, Crocmeyer, please.
I'm just gonna put this out there. There is still Shack Tool.
Oh my.
If Bo is at Shack Tool, yeah, that's just no. No, put this seed straight into the garbage fire.
I'm trying to remember where Spring Ball was.
It was fairly recent.
It was where?
I forget the exact location, but it was fairly recent. We saw it in the last half hour or so.
Okay.
Don't mind me, I'm just playing some vanilla while I wait for Stryzer to finish.
So, not at Main Street, not at Crab Supers.
Was
it Speed Booster that had it?
Speed Booster location, I guess, yeah.
Oh, speaking of Speed Booster, the other reason I thought I was behind was because since you have to, the seed made you access Brinstar for progression via Speed Booster, and that Shine Spark is something that I'm not the best at, so I figured that would cost me an indefinite amount of time as well, depending on how long that took me. So that was actually another factor in my decision making. Was I don't think it actually took me that many tries to get it, but if you're not familiar with how to short charge, it's actually really difficult.
Stryzer is continuing to dig out this Meridian. Not sure how many places are left.
Oh, you know where it could be? It could just be in like the back of Meridia, which is just an awful place because it's really far out of the way to check back of Meridia, whether you go there from the Super Metroid side or from the Link to the Past side. I try to avoid that part of Meridia. Just because of how long it takes to get over there for a total of think Dorm 3 checks. Because you can check Batoon E-Tank. It's Batoon E-Tank, it's the space jump item, and then Dragon Missile. Those are your checks over there. And it takes a while to get there from either side, because if you go there from the Meridia checks, it logically like you need to kill Batoon, And if you go there from the Link to the Past side, you generally have to warp to... You have to save and quit, take the warp by Link's house, and then swim all the way over to Southeast Dark World to take the portal there. And neither option is very appealing.
So it's worth knowing that Strider just went back in the sand pit and picked up that energy tank that he didn't pick up before. He skipped it before just to check the other sand pit and has now since gone back and picked it up.
I didn't think energy was an issue in this seed. You had plenty. You had like 7. I had 7. But clearly...
he's at 12 right now.
12?
He was down to 3, though.
Oh, that...
And
oh, for the refill.
Check. Boat Shack Tool, I mean, it is possible. We'll certainly see.
I mean, if there's not a lot of places left, then it could be, and then this is just a seed that we give to everybody in the tournament who hasn't watched this race.
I approve of this.
This is one of those seeds that I would actually. There's
the bow.
Is it really at Shack Tool?
That's the bow.
That is a bow at Shack Tool.
Oh my god.
What was Should I go light the dumpster on fire now?
Please.
Anyone got a match?
Or should I just use a fire rod?
I can use a fire rod.
Ice rod away from go mode, and he just has to go to Alcatraz to pick it.
That is an absolutely ridiculous location. I'm sorry. That makes me even more upset because you couldn't hand me a better seed to beat him with. You absolutely could not.
Was that a location you would have been checking?
Yes. I'm one of those people that believes in absolutely being thorough. So that just no. But of course you have no way to know that when you're playing.
Of course.
You could name off all the troll locations and say, betcha this seed's gonna have this seed's gonna have this, but in the middle of the game,
but not all
you don't
of them.
Think about that.
This seed had so many terrible item locations.
And pretty much the only thing it could have made worse is something on PED.
Oh, I checked PED super early.
Yeah, he checked it right behind you.
Yeah. And Strider, going back to Link to the Past, he's got that bow. And he is probably going to just clear out Eastern, clear up Pod. And then he just has to find his ice rod, and then he'll be done.
Oh yeah, pod double dip required too. Because of where flippers were.
Well, it is true he is not yet in go mode, but he is most definitely in bow mode. Not wasting any time here.
I think I would have a hard time finishing this seed under 345.
I'm actually wondering if Strider's going to pull that off.
I mean, he's got Pod Eastern. I mean, he's got effectively go mode Eastern. He's got Pod.
That's still about 3 or 4 minutes, though.
I mean, he can probably cut 345. I mean, 330 is probably about what he's gonna have, if I had to guess. 330 sounds about right with what he's got left.
If you assume the 3 dungeons he has left that he has to clear, that's about 10, 12 minutes maybe, give or take.
I mean, he also has to find that ice rod.
Yeah, I was gonna add he has to find the ice rod too, so it's gonna depend on when he finds the ice rod, what his approximate time will be at that point.
Oh, did he go back to Link to the Past? That makes sense. That makes sense. But if he's going back to Link to the Past to look for it, then that's gonna be kind of tough to find.
Well, he's gonna clear out Pod and Eastern. He'll probably then that opens up double-chested fairy, I guess, and then he'll probably go back to Super Metroid because he doesn't have any other checks.
That's still a lot, though. Like, based on the way he's routed, there's a lot of Super Metroid left from what I can see. It just depends on what direction he goes into Super Metroid from.
I mean, I believe he's already checked all of Norfair. I think he can't have that many more. He can't have that many other places he can check because he's found every Super Metroid item in the game.
He could go back. Like, has he already done Greenbryn? Because I could actually see going to the business center and going backwards through Greenbryn because of all the Morphlock locations. Since Morphball was so late.
He did all those pretty early while you were stumbling around, trying to remember what you were up to. I think when you're doing a lot of your Link to the Past overworld. That's
I have this philosophy where I feel being thorough is important. Which is probably one of the reasons why my times have been so consistent in this tournament. You won't see me get 245, 250 times, but you'll see my times usually in the 315 to 330 range.
By the way, we just found the Riot Shield for Strizer.
I think I only found the one shield.
Yeah, this one was deep inside Palace of Darkness.
Oh yeah, there was no way I was going to find that.
Chad is coming up with an estimate of 3 hours and 30 minutes for the time for Strizer by the time he makes the check that he needs to make, and hopefully he makes it. But he's going to do the... at this point, I think he's going to do the two Eastern Palace of Darkness dungeons, getting everything. And as someone in the chat called it, slow mode the dungeons. And look
that
for the
makes
ice
sense,
rod
though.
in these. Yeah, he's going to check for the ice rod in these, though, before going back to Super Metroid.
And that makes perfect sense.
He's got no reason not to, is the thing.
I agree.
Makes perfect sense. That's actually one of the reasons why I was holding off on Eastern for so long as well, is because I figured there was either a lamp or a I figured there was something missing in like a lamp. So I was like, you know what, we're just going to ignore this lamp in Eastern Palace and break logic to try to figure out what item we missed where, so we can let that influence our routing later. And when I found the flute out of sequence, I was kind of confused.
Yeah, that was up on Death Mountain in Paradox, I think.
Yeah, Paradox.
Yeah,
Cave.
it was in Paradox Cave, and when I found that out of sequence, I got kind of confused as to what item I was missing. Because I was thinking, it's just Morph Ball to get... I was also thinking of the possibility about Morph Ball just being an Eastern... and just looking like an idiot.
One thing that did not make you look like an idiot was you decided to make the play over towards... you decided to make the play towards Aghanim, then doubled back and went in to Super Metroid a bit, and it was right about that time that Strizer found the hammer, and then you lucked out and found Titan's Mitts to permanently take Aghanim off the table. That would have been another 10-12 minutes that you really wouldn't have been able to afford losing.
That was another mishap. That I made early on is I was like, there's two swords and a there's two swords and a moon pearl early. And then I realized I didn't have the lantern. Thankfully, I didn't go too far into Agatower before I came to the realization, but it was still another early mishap. And that also, the whole like issues early just snowballed, and that's what put me under so much pressure, which is why I made the decision I did.
Yeah, I had noticed that you had gone into we're making the play to Aghanim Tower. We thought, okay, is Raikou Rider comfortable with Dark Rooms? Like, it seems a little early he's making this play with still has some things he can check, and then but we literally were starting to think you just thought you saw the writing, as Algernon put it, the writing on the wall, and it's like you were gambling on Pyramid. Then we saw you leave, and we're like, nope, change his mind.
If I had the Fire Rod, then I would have absolutely gone up Agatower, because I'm more than comfortable doing Agatower, no lamp if I have Fire Rod. And then I realized, wait, I don't have any fire source at all. I don't know how to do this. Let's turn around. And then when I went to Super Metroid and found that progression behind speed, I was really shaking my fist because of the whole I'm not really comfortable with the speed booster method to get into Bryn without Morph. What did it take me? Like 3 or 4 tries? It wasn't that. It didn't take me that long. Right. Yeah. It didn't take me that long.
Meanwhile, Strizer has killed Helmasaur. He is on his way towards just cleaning out the rest of Eastern Palace.
The boss fight was nice and quick.
Those silver arrows definitely being put to good use.
Yeah, the whole soft lock just came down to I thought I had a reserve filled, because normally what I do when I check GT is I fill up at my ship, and I just for whatever reason didn't. I think I just forgot to fill up at my ship, so I thought my reserves were full, and they were empty. And then I realized, wait, I just saved behind the Red Key Hunters with 34 energy. And with 34 energy and no way to farm. So by the time I figured out what happened, I realized I had made a terrible, terrible mistake. And that's a mistake I won't be making again, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and one of the good things about some of these trolley things that happen to runners, you only make those mistakes one time.
Yeah. It's the same with if there's even if you miss an item location, it's the same with that. Like the first rando seed I ever played, and I'm talking about just Link to the Past rando. I checked everything I could think of. Okay, I have no clue what to do, and it turned out I had never checked Digging Game, and that was a flute that needed to give me the Misery Mire, and I will never forget Digging Game ever again.
That happened to me in my first combo not my first combo seed, but one of the early ones I did, where there was just a logic gotcha that got me. I think it was.
I didn't add to Gold Teresa. Was that?
Oh yeah. That was in the V9 hard tournament where I didn't realize Varia could be in logic at Screw, and that cost me a match. But this was. I will chalk this one up to just Strizer getting in my head. Which is easy to do when you're playing against somebody that you know will out execute you in 100% of races.
We're getting a Pyramid Fairy check, by the way. We know it's not the Ice Rod. I don't even think it can be any nice to have at this point, except maybe a heart container at most. So we are getting an almost 100% seed here today. It looks like.
And all the absolutely just awful locations for items, this is just going to be a 100% seed. And that just leaves even more of a salty taste in my mouth, is knowing that this was exactly the type of seed that I asked for at the beginning of the race, and just throwing it away to something incredibly stupid.
So in the pyramid, we have power bombs and missiles. So let's see what Strizer decides to do to try and find where this Ice Rod is. I can't think of how many places he has left. The only one I can think of is, there's Mushroom and Catfish he can check, and that's probably where he's headed.
I don't think Catfish had anything, did he?
No, Catfish didn't. I mean, we know that none of these can have anything of note.
Yeah. And he did do the Zora check and Waterfall Cave earlier, so obviously he knows those are not there because he checked those. Both runners checked those.
Yeah, that's the reserve tank. The one at Catfish.
Oh yeah, that's where I got my reserve tank. Because I would have farmed more after Ridley if I had known that my reserve tank was empty. But the fact that my reserve tank was empty is what complicated matters.
Oh, Strizer. What? Oh, Strizer.
Oh, he's checking checking Dark Crossroads.
Wow. Oh, wow. Isn't that just a...
It was Big 20, yeah.
Yeah, isn't that just a Big 20?
I mean, he's looking for Ice Rod. It can be anywhere.
Right. He's looking for Ice Rod.
Locations it can be.
They're like, even in just regular Link to the Past round, it could be in any location except for Trinex, and it could even be in Gans Tower if GT is if it's dependent on Trinex. Anyway, Strizer, enjoy your money, sir.
I'm sure he'll enjoy it more once he finds this stupid Ice Rod.
Yeah.
He's headed towards, it looks like Norfair. That's probably where he's headed because he's took the mountain portal. Yep, he's
not going yet.
Not. Oh, he's going. Is he going to finish Tower? Because there's another item in Tower of Hera.
Didn't we see both items?
Yeah, there were two super missiles and there were two super missiles in Red Tower.
Oh boy. He is clueless.
Yeah, he's checking off every item he can. There are a lot of one-off spots that he missed. I don't think he's done Hookshot Cave either. He might have. Yeah, I think he did do Hookshot Cave. You're right.
Enough health for this should be fine. I mean to be fair, in round one, something similar happened to Breakdown, and that's the only reason why I beat him.
Right, the Spazer Softlock.
The Spazer Softlock, yeah. So it just goes to show you, it can happen to anybody. Yeah, I was wondering when
we haven't seen this.
I was wondering when the lack of SM familiarity would just get me.
And that's a missile. Well, one thing's for sure, he's going to be good for the Mother Brain fight.
I mean, he's got Charge and Ice. Of course he's good for the Mother Brain fight.
Yeah,
where was Charge at?
Of ammo.
Where was Charge at? If I may ask.
I'm trying to think. It was Charge and another item that were paired together. I'm trying to remember.
It was a pair of items, yeah. It was a pair of items.
Gauntlet, maybe?
Yeah, it was Gauntlet.
Oh, right. I never checked Gauntlet because I was gonna check. Because I was gonna check it after I had checked. Bomb Chorizo. Because of some of the locations. Because the only location that I had in West Criteria, other than Gauntlet, was Bomb Chorizo. So I figured I could check Gauntlet, check Gauntlet, check Bomb Chorizo, and then do the rest of Bryn. And then when I found Ice Rod, I was like, you know what? Let's just go up from Norfair and just ignore all these annoying locations.
Yeah, Strizer now in Skullwoods trying to he's gonna kill Mothula for the green pendant item. That's also gonna be a bot.
That's gonna send him to Sahasrara, yeah. He's literally just exploring every crevice he can find right now.
But that is going to do it for our Ryza talk with us. Still very gracious of him to pop in and give his thoughts. But we're going to put all our attention on Strizer now for the rest of this.
Yeah, we do thank Break Rider for coming and chatting about it as well. But yeah, let's focus on Strizer finishing because we have to figure out. He has to figure out rather where this ice rod is located, and this is probably more torture to him at this point than anything else.
And I didn't think I would get a chance to say this, but live from PRX, it's the Moth Radio Hour.
And here's an interesting little factoid here. We are over 3 hours into this seed, and we are still not in go mode. We are in no mode, but we're not in go mode.
Strizer has everything needs to beat the game except for his ice rod. He just needs to go to Bomb Chorizo right outside of his ship, and he'll have it, but of course he doesn't know that.
Now the question will be, does he remember that location, or is he, I'm sure he does, but will he remember to check it? Does he remember he has not done that location yet?
Hopefully if he's using an item tracker of some kind, it will pop up that that's still something he hasn't taken care of. It's another one of those just random one-offs.
Strizer calls Swag Duck Air and asks for a flight to Palace of Darkness. And, or I should say Eastern Palace, rather, because it's in the light world. And he is heading up to deliver the pendant to Sahasrara. We don't know what this item is yet, but we're going to find out right now. It's
My guess is 300 rupees. We haven't seen too many 300s.
Burn the witch!
Hey, I know there's like 6 of them in the item pool. We've seen, what, 1?
Burn them anyway!
We're looking for the ice rod, though, not the fire rod. Strizer also realizing that he has the shovel. That may be what he's thinking. Strizer is clearly a bit stumped. Hopefully he figures this out.
Strizer.exe has shut down. Rebooting. Memory 32, 64, 96, 128.
Meanwhile, Strizer in the tank.
Strizer is thinking. He has finished thinking. He is now off to... Nope, he just landed on Death Mountain and saved and quit. He must be... Yep, hard reset. I figured it had to be Super Metroid. He just wanted to make sure he had everything covered in Link to the Past. Decided there was nothing else he could have done. He's off to Super Metroid to check the remaining locations here.
And because this will put him at his ship, this is really close towards... close to boundary, so hopefully he'll... think to stop in there. He might go from here into Tori and just finish out Super Metroid from here.
Well, this... If he... Oh, he's checking down here. He never checked the area down here.
Here he goes.
That's where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, at 3 hours, 5 minutes, and 17 seconds, Strize Raise 6 is in go mode!
However, because he has the Morph Ball bombs, he's going to have to fight the Bomb Chorizo to get out.
Darn it.
2 Super Missiles takes care of that.
Easy enough.
And I imagine he'll probably go straight to Turian from here. And a nice swag Alcatraz escape just because.
So yeah, now he just has 2 dungeons, or 1 dungeon rather, to clear a Link to the Past, and we're going to be off to Ganon's Tower, the Big Pig, and then the Big Brain.
Yep, so Strizer unfortunately will have to go through pretty much the entirety of Turtle Rock here.
Yeah, this is a painful double dip. Turtle Rock is 1 dungeon.
This was a hard required double dip.
It was. This is a painful double dip, and it's required. So heading upstairs, going to come out once he drops through another hole. He will head back upstairs. He will exit the cave near the Hookshot Cave entrance. And he will be back over to Turtle Rock.
Yep, just a short jaunt back into the Dark World, and he has, I believe, at least 1 blue and 1 red potion. He hasn't used any of his potions, I don't believe.
I haven't even been looking. I see a blue one in the menu there. So, always nice to go through Chompy's room without having to waste time with the chests.
I mean, they can still troll you, but thankfully this time they didn't.
Yeah, just like, hi Chompy, bye Chompy. Just bounce around over there, that's a good boy.
That may be the first time I've heard Chain Chomp and Good Boy in the same sentence, but not being there somewhere. And welcome to Speed Gaming After Dark, where wonders never cease.
This is what happens after 3 hours seed. So if everyone wants to know, that's where the Morph Ball was. That started this whole mess.
Oh yeah, that is where it was, right before this final maze.
Yeah.
Good grief, what a terrible place to put that.
I agree. I guess it could be worse. It could be on the pedestal.
It could.
I think I heard it happen in one race in the tournament. I didn't see that race, unfortunately. I'm curious to see it if I figure out which one it is.
Morph Ball Ped just sounds dirty.
Oh, it does. That's why I like it.
You would.
Thank you.
But anyway, here is, for the first time tonight, the Trinex fight. Felisari chat with a very good point. Anyone who hasn't seen this seed is going to be given this seed and just be told, yeah, have fun.
Hey, you have to play this one. Trust me, you'll have a lot of fun with this one. I want to see this. I want to see how fast you can do this, dude.
But with the Butter Sword, 3 hits, so it is time for everyone's favorite game. There are 22 chests in Ganon's Tower. One of them has the big key. Which one?
Where do you think that is? That big key will be today, Algernon?
I'm going to go with my standard call, chest number 5.
Well, given how bad this seed is, I bet you it's going to be in Tower Room. But because it's me, I have to say it's always 11 because, well, always.
I mean, thankfully there isn't a chest number 86 for Stricer.
I'm sure we can manufacture a few here and there.
You have to work on the supply chain, logistics, need to get a warehouse. It's just not worth it.
So if you're hearing this, it is too late. The big key guessing game is closed. And the hunt begins.
We're going right side, so...
Let's see if he stops in Tower Room. Just knowing how bad this seed has been, and knowing that he's now by himself in this race. Nope, he's leaving. He doesn't have a key. He can't go over.
1 piece of heart, 2 big 20.
So, Tower Room will have to wait, which leads even further to think it might be in there. There's a compass for Janus Tower.
3.
He doesn't stop to pick it up, so I guess he's going to have a hard time finding Aghanim today, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Wink, wink.
but he did save Bob. Makes it worth it.
Bob! So if we get far enough, we're going to get to say, hi, Bob! There's number 4, 50 rupees. Number 5 is a small key. Number 6 is on standby until these skeletons get out of the way. Number 6 is 20 rupees. And number 7, once that skeleton dies, is nothing important.
2 missiles, up 7, you're out.
And here comes item location number 8.
In the double fire snake
That's a home run! Sorry for the baseball reference. Number 8 is the winner here. And we will wait for chat to react to that, and then we will get the winner in chat. And that might have been slightly early. But anyway, the winner today is 8-Bit Cupcake. Congratulations to you. You didn't get it right on, but you were apparently our closest sub or supporter. Subscriber to Speed Gaming or donator 250 bits or more to get with number 10. Close enough. Congratulations. Welcome to the leaderboard.
Welcome to the leaderboard indeed. Stricer now shooting these mimics as he heads his way into this trap room, and then from here it'll basically be up the gauntlet.
And going now through Cannonball Run. And makes it through, goes upstairs. Welcome to the Gauntlet. These are 5 very difficult rooms. I swear, difficult rooms. I'm telling you, this is a difficult room.
They're difficult room if you don't have a sword, red mail, riot shield, and silver arrows.
Stricer, you're making this look too easy. This is a difficult room. Remember, this is a difficult room. Now the beam was getting in the way. Beam was on conveyor belt. It's a very difficult room. And now we're on ice.
Because that makes it so much harder.
Stricer, you're supposed to make this look like a difficult room. Come on, you're making me look bad. Come on.
Dude, he's gonna be 5-0. Give him some respect.
Well, he did take a little damage there, so yeah, he proved that there is some difficulty in these rooms. We will accept it.
Very interesting. He is going to powder that fairy. That is going to make the land molas spawn on a much different pattern in this room.
And we're okay with that. So the land molas are 2 down. 1 more. 3 dead land molas.
And a nice little fireball block there as he heads up towards the Wizrobe rooms. This 3 Wizrobe room is completely free with the King of Samaria. The 4 Wizrobe room that's a little bit further up is not.
Always nice to see that those Wizrobe rooms get taken out so quickly like that. So here we are in the torch quote unquote puzzle. Ooh,
I like
took
how
a salty-
you insist on the quote unquote.
Yeah.
You got the torch lit, that's what matters.
And he went to fall in the pit and warp back to the entrance, and it turns out he took another hit from the fire bar, a little salty hit from the fire bar when you were already falling in the pit. Still counts. We're not going to waste time on these chests, just going to get our key and move on.
And there's no reason to pick up any of the rest of these chests.
Absolutely.
He might pick up a fairy from this room coming up, but that'd be about it.
He just did that.
So we did. Now on to Troll Dorm 2.
And why do we call it Troll Dorm 2? Because Moldorm 2 is just too vanilla. So, and if you watch this game at all, you know why we call it Troll Dorm. Now, that was 300 rupees. So there was one of our 300 rupees Ganon, or I should say Moldorm, holding the money today.
Moldorm with the money. I like it. Not sure what the worm's gonna spend it on, but I like it.
And at 317, we crossed the Mothula Welcome Mat into Aghanim 2. Why is it Aghanim 2? Because it's a little different than Aghanim 1, which we never actually saw, so we're never going to actually see it today either. Ooh, this could be a double depending how it lines up.
Does not.
That might have been a double.
So that was two distinct hits, so that was a double. So
we're at 4
he
hits
triples
now.
here. He just missed, so
Five
this is
hits.
probably gonna be
I think I'm a little ahead of you. It's 5 hits now, and there's hit number 6.
There we go. So into the Ganon fight now.
It's time for the Big Pig.
And let's see what the Bacon Master has to say to us today.
Yeah, sometimes he likes to give us cheese facts, sometimes it's facts about insects, sometimes he just tells Link the mark on his hand means he has to die. Let's see what he decides to spit out today. And today's quote is about nutrition. Half of our daily grains come from whole grain products. Thank you very much, Ganon. This is an educational game, I swear. Educational. You can get tips every time you play. The pig will tell you everything.
The pig will tell you everything.
Already on phase 3, very good Ganon fight. So
when
hit
you
number
have
2.
when you have the butter sword, this does tend to go through things
Yeah.
rather quickly.
Overpowered.
Link OP, please nerf.
Did you find the silvers? Yes. Would you like to try a few? Tried to go for a triple, only got a double. Didn't get the torch glitch. Don't think it's gonna matter too much.
Shouldn't.
This is
but
a double. This is a double. Double done. Get your first G in chat, ladies and gentlemen, or G underscore G hyphen, whatever you want to use, or hyphen G. As Strizer has completed the first of 2 final bosses and is now going to be off to Super Metroid because now it is time for the Big Brain.
Yes, he was setting up for that triple. You can't do the triple and do the torch glitch in the same run, so you have to devote to one or the other. But this should be pretty clean for Strider to finish this out.
It should be at this point. I think he's happy to have this one behind him. This seed has been horrible.
Again, with Charge and Ice, he does not care that he only has 19 supers. That'll be enough to kill enough Metroids.
He's bouncing his way through very quickly as well. Interestingly, he hasn't visited any of this area yet. I find that very interesting.
And of course, there are 3 big tricks to pull off here in Turian. There is the Baby Skip, the Zeb Skip, and of course Stand Up Glitch. We'll see which of those Striser can pull off in this run. And of course, the burning question all of us need to know, will he save or kill the animals?
And also, will he go for Baby Skip to save a little time too? This has been such a long seed.
Malcrios definitely gets my vote. He has suggested that we taunt the animals. I'm very much a fan of this.
But the problem is that once we actually go into the animal room, the door locks behind you, so you can't really taunt the animals without then eventually freeing them.
Well, no, you just open the door, you open the door, you just don't go in. You fire a couple missiles in there just for shiggles.
Oh, I see. Given how bad this seed has been, normally I would say this is just cruel, but I would support this in this case.
Like, what about this seed hasn't been cruel? Let's be honest.
Everything? Oh, everything has been cruel.
Not taking damage, so he may be trying for this Baby Skip. Let's see if he gets it.
So he has passed the point of no return. If he were to save in here, he will not be able to go back to any other portion of either game. Not that I don't think he really cares, because he's basically...
I guess he's not going for Baby Skip because he's taking himself a lot of damage off of this side hopper.
Yeah, he's like, hug me, please.
He took off Varia and Gravity Suit so he could take damage quicker. That's smart.
Yeah, I see that.
And it looked like he did manage to face right in time.
I'm curious what you mean by facing right.
It's if you face right when you're released from the baby, you save 32 frames.
Every frame counts.
Save the frames, kill the animals. It's the saying for a reason.
Okay, we are through the last eye door, heading down the chamber, and it is time for the one bottle that runners cannot pick up. It is the bottle that contains a big brain in it.
Striser setting up for the Zeb Skip, gets it very cleanly. That's nice.
Very nice. And the room warps to the brain falling on the floor. It is time for the big, overgrown behemoth of beauty, I guess we can say.
Sure, let's go with that. So I believe it's 30 ice charge slots in order to get into Mother Brain 3. I'm sure Chad will correct me if I'm wrong. Although, with plenty of delicious fast food themed attacks from Mother Brain.
We're being told it's 20 shots in chat. And that's our tracker again saying that. Now, I've heard other commentators refer to Mother Brain as McBrainies because all the fast food that she spits at you.
Onion rings, potato tots, the fries, and of course the ketchup bean. But no stand-up glitch. It doesn't look like. Nope. Oh, no.
Ketchup bean.
He does have stand-up glitch, maybe.
Yeah, he took additional damage to make sure he would get the stand-up glitch.
It looks like he's got it. Ooh,
good child.
I'm not sure if he still has it.
Ooh. This will cost some frames if he doesn't have it. He has it.
Alright. So I believe it'll only take 40 shots, but he has to make sure he doesn't get all of them because that may be a soft lock there.
Now he's going to basically mug Mother while she's down. So this is hit him while they're down, and make sure you don't kill him, because that's just cruel and unfortunate punishment. I think
That would be a terrible end to this if that were to happen, but
it
I'm
would be
sure
a terrible mistake.
He knows when to stop.
It would be a terrible mistake. I think he's about 27 hits now, 28, 29, 30 as the baby dies. Everyone get your Bible thumps or whatever you use for baby death in chat. Up to about 35 hits now. And a couple rainbow beams shots, and that's it.
4 more shots, and that'll get there. Yep. So 3 minutes on the clock, ready, go. Well, in a few seconds.
Please put 3 minutes on the clock. Well, okay, not yet. Please put 3 minutes on the clock. Cha-ching! Begin!
For 100,000 rupees, this is your first subject. Ready, go.
Rainbow beams. Ice beam.
Things you kill space pirates with.
Charge shots.
I think we've run the pyramid joke.
Yeah.
I'm glad you got the reference, honestly.
I did get that. I'm familiar. I did watch Dick Clark a long time ago, so I am familiar with pyramid. I always liked how he said, "This is your first subject. Go."
It's going to be a really sad day when Alex Trebek retires in a couple years.
Oh, it will be. He's got to be close.
I mean, he said he's probably retiring in 2020, but we know who's not retiring. Strizer86 making the climb through the parlor. He has a couple floors to go. Just one more run, one more screen transition. He is going to save the animals.
Or he's going to taunt them. Let's find out.
He might taunt them.
He's saving them. He is saving the animals.
He is going to save them.
The animals have been saved. Get out of here, he says. Go. Leave. Get out. Thank you. And it looks like our stream has him marked as winner a little bit too quickly here. That was a little bit of an early click, so we're not getting the finishing music here, but Strizer is our winner. He is coming up to the ship right now, and he does have an official SRL time of 3 hours, 28 minutes, and 38 seconds, and that is a winning time. Get your GGs in chat. Ugh.
And we'll get Strizer in for a quick interview. Emphasis on quick. It's 12:33. I'm sure this may be a bit late for some of us.
And I see him with us, Strizer, GG, and the only thing I'm going to ask you to do first, tell us your thoughts about where everything was in that scene.
Bo at Shack Tool, that was a thing.
Yeah, actually, I kind of asked the wrong first question. Would you like me to throw the scene in the dumpster fire in the burn?
You know what? I feel partially responsible because, I mean, I don't like routing the start of Super Metroid without Morph, and the fact that I completely gapped out on BT was just ridiculous. Like, it wasn't my last resort by choice. I literally got to the end of Super Metroid, and I was just like, A Link to the Past, and I was like, okay, well, my tracker is literally empty, and I don't use a tracker for Super Metroid, so that's the only place it could be. And
it turned out to be in the one weirdest place that it could possibly be. You already had the morph bombs for the Chorizo fight in the initial power bomb chamber, and you had to fight them today.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of quick supers to the chest, but that was kind of the icing on the cake. And I didn't realize he could start standing up before I even got the items. Like, he started standing up, and I'm like, whoa, I didn't even grab the ice rod yet.
That was very interesting as well, yeah. But yes, you have won. That puts you at 5-0 undefeated in the Swiss, and you will be playing for your share of $1,000 in cash.
What?
That's still a little bit nuts to me. I joined just with the idea and hope of maybe winning a couple games. So I'm absolutely hyped about that. There's a lot of really great, talented runners in the tournament in general. So it should be really exciting. I'm excited to start that. I think that starts when we get back from GDQ or at the end of GDQ.
I believe that sounds about right. The tournament organizers, I'm sure, will have a better understanding.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, I can definitely inquire, but no, I appreciate everyone hanging out and staying the duration, and all of everyone in the staff, the commentary, the trackers, and whatnot, and all of the restreamers. It's a big job, and the tournament's been taking up a lot of time, and sometimes the siege just run long. So thanks everybody for it. It's 1:30 in the morning, so I'm gonna bounce, but I hope everyone has a great night, and sorry to hear about Raikou. That was unfortunate. That's not want to take a W, but I look forward to the brackets. It should be exciting.
All right, best of luck, Stricer.
Thanks. Have a good night, all.
And Cyclone, I think that is going to do it for us. Do you have any final comments on this?
I would say more like this, but I don't think we want more like this.
I think we can both agree with that. For everyone behind the scenes, for Kuchiri, our tracker, for the Restream crew, and for my co-commentator Cyclone, I am Algernon25, and we will see you.
Before we wrap, let's just cover the other races coming up tomorrow. I want to cover a quick throw of these races tomorrow. We do have Sinus versus Isis Isolthese coming up on Speed Gaming 3 tomorrow at 2 p.m. 2:30 p.m. on Speed Gaming Prime, where we are right now. Bentizi versus Total. And Ancient Gamers versus Metroid MST at 7:30 p.m. Same channel, Speed Gaming main channel tomorrow. You can get more information on those races at speedgaming.org/SMC3winter. And you can also type !schedule in chat to get a link to our Speed Gaming main schedule, where you can get information on all the events taking place on Speed Gaming. Follow Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2 through 6 for all of your speedrunning needs. And we're all set. So I will say goodnight, and I will leave my co-com Algernon with the final word here. Good night, everyone.
I think the only word we need to say is good night.